Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
When Shiwan came out, she actually had a plan in mind. If it was possible, she naturally wanted to get the female lead of the geisha of the Tang dynasty. After all, this was the female lead of the movie. If it was in the past, she would not even care about the female lead of the geisha of the Tang dynasty. However, she was still a newcomer now and could not overestimate herself. Shiwan returned to her room and saw that Li Yin was also reading a script carefully. She looked at the few scripts in Shiwan's hands and was slightly surprised. "Why are you acting so much? It's just an audition." Shiwan looked at her script. "The female lead?" Li Yin raised her chin. "Of course. As long as I enter the entertainment industry, if I don't act as the female lead, do I have to be a supporting character?" "What show?" "The last time I mentioned it, my mother didn't let me act in Chenzide's show, but my brother agreed. In her family, her brother's words were more effective than an imperial edict. Let me take a look at your audition scripts." Shiwan casually threw them over. Li Yin took a few glances. "TSK. Only one female lead wants you to audition? Which show do you want to act in? I'll see if I can help." "The Tang Dynasty." Shiwan drank a mouthful of water. "But I don't need your help for the time being. I'll take a look at the audition first." According to Lisa's words, there wasn't any producer or investor that wasn't willing to audition for these roles. It was quite fair. "All right, I wish you a successful audition. But if you fail, I'll find another female lead for you to act as." "How's that?" "Okay, then don't forget to pursue my brother." "I won't forget, but I see that you haven't made any moves recently." "Take your time. We have 3 years anyway, right?" "Oomph. I keep feeling like I've lost out," Li Yin muttered. She felt that this contract was weird, but what was weird about it? It was clearly her own request. Shaking her head, she couldn't figure it out, so she simply stopped thinking about it. Li Yin scrolled through Weibo on the side and returned to her room a few times. Shiwan took out her notebook and started search online for news about the casting of these scripts. Her main focus was on the Tang Dynasty drama. She even went to the serialized website of the original novel and registered an account to pay to watch it. Other than that, she also went to Weibo and Tieba. She went to the ends of the earth for 2 rounds and understood the whole story. The popularity of this novel was really high because the male protagonist was a black-bellied and deep-hearted man who often saved the female protagonist from the abyss of suffering. The female protagonist was a tough and intelligent geisha who only schemed for the male protagonist. Unfortunately, her status was not worthy, therefore. She had been clenching her teeth and refusing to admit that she fell in love with the male protagonist. The process was torturous and heart-wrenching. The story was also very interesting. It was about the female protagonist being favored by the male protagonist when she was a geisha. After that, their hearts were linked. The male protagonist ignored the secular world and wanted to marry the female protagonist as his concubine. The Empress Dowager did not allow it and sent someone to pass on the message to the female protagonist. The female protagonist knew that her status was not worthy and agreed to leave. After hearing that the male protagonist was engaged to the second daughter of the prime minister, the female protagonist finally gave up and followed the geisha director far away from Chang. She played and sang along the way to earn money and numbed herself along the way. By chance, the female protagonist received a secret report from a trader and a dog official to a spy in Fusang about the military affairs of the current dynasty. The female protagonist protected the secret report fearfully and fought with the bandits of Fusang all the way. She returned to Chang and then passed the secret report to the male protagonist. There were endless conspiracies and dangerous situations. When he was about to complete his mission, the male protagonist was stabbed by the bandits of Fusang in order to protect the female protagonist and almost lost his life. After that, he was declared a vegetable by the medical officer, and the prime minister's second daughter broke off the engagement under the constant care of the female protagonist. The male protagonist finally woke up one day and was happy ending. The entire story was very melodramatic and could not withstand scrutiny. However, it could not withstand the author's elegant style and elegant words. His writing was quite popular because such a melodramatic story had earned him enough popularity and tears. The male protagonist and the female protagonist were also selected by the majority of the netizens as the male and female protagonists of the top 10 novels. Therefore, Weibo was hot with discussions about who could play these two roles. The netizens even spontaneously voted for who Li Yi and Bai Shuang were in their hearts. The top 10 people who voted were the popular young male idols and actresses on the internet. The male lead's voice was the loudest, followed by Qiao Yu and Huo Feng. The female lead's voice was the loudest, Sun Wanyu. However, she was pregnant now, so her fans also knew that her master would not act in this movie. The second most popular actresses were the actresses Zhao Ji and Tang Tang. However, both of them were actresses in the television industry, so the comments below were basically surrounded by Zhao and Tang fans. The fans on both sides tacitly believed that the female lead of Records of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty would definitely be born between Zhao Ji and Tang Tang, so the fight was very fierce. Zhao fans ridiculed Tang Tang for being old, ugly, and bad at acting. Tang fans ridiculed Zhao Ji and Mei Kong for being born with a low education and a bad character who liked to lie. In short, the fight was so intense that the fans on both sides refused to submit to each other. They were so fierce that other fans or passers-by were disgusted by the scene and ridiculed them for not wanting the two of them. If the two of them were acting, then so be it. Some people directly ridiculed. It was too low-class and lowered the level of the Tang Dynasty. They begged the production investors to be more careful. There were even some people who said that a new actor would be cast. She once said that this was the first time she had seen such a big fuss over who would be cast in this role. In the past, when she had starred in a movie, when the poster was released, the comments below were all the same. Everyone expected it. Shaking her head, she won when to figure out the role. Although she was confident in her acting skills, she was afraid that the director would not be willing to cast a newcomer. After scrolling through Weibo, Li Yin went out of the bedroom and saw that Shi-Wan was still awake, so she asked, "Did you send a private message to my brother?" Your brother is definitely not on Weibo. She had seen the pattern. The boss would only be online on Friday nights. Are you 484 stupid? Can't you text? I don't have the boss's phone number. I do. Li Yin was furious. You won't ask me. You're not sincere. You lied to me. You're also starting to protect me. Shi-Wan shrugged. Me? What the hell? Li Yin sent a number to Shi-Wan's phone. Remember to harass my brother more. It was really annoying. As a standard heterosexual girl who really wanted to be an aunt and hug a cute nephew, she was really worried about her brother who was suspected to be gay. Shi-Wan's phone received a string of numbers. It was a very beautiful string of numbers. It was obviously the boss's private number, and then she transferred it. Hurry up and send a message. Just as she finished saving it, Li Yin said faintly, Shi-Wan, it's too late. Besides, if I send it to him without permission, your brother will definitely be wary of me. If that happens, I'm afraid it will backfire. That's true. After drinking a mouthful of water, she went back to her bedroom to sleep. She muttered, "Sigh, I'm about to start my career as a big star. I'll go to bed early and go to bed early. My skin is beautiful." Shi-Wan, after studying the Tang Dynasty drama, Shi-Wan quickly looked at the other dramas. The third female lead in the Li family's orphan was a pretty girl. She was the villain, and she only appeared for a few minutes before she was eliminated. If she really won, she estimated that she would be able to finish this part in a week. The second female lead in Spring and Autumn might sound like the second female lead, but it was actually a male drama. This second female lead had even fewer scenes than the third female lead in the Li family's orphan. As for the television drama, Waiting for Flowers to Bloom, it was just a second female lead. Although the second female lead had some characteristics and was quite likable, the filming time was too long. Most importantly, the starting point was too low. If one's natural talent was average and one's popularity was not high, then acting as the second female lead was a good opportunity to attract fans. One had to know that an actor's starting point determined their future path. Some people, if they debuted in the film industry, their future acting path would really be smooth sailing. If they debuted in the television industry, then they might not be able to enter the big screen in their entire lives. The starting point of debuting determined one's own status. For example, if you were a small starlet in the television industry, no matter how many fans you had, if you were to fight with a small number of fans in the film industry, they would say, even the master's low fans are low. Or, let your fans act in a movie before coming to talk to my family. The fans of an actress in the television industry really had nothing to say, unless they jumped around and cursed, but that posture was too ugly and only made a joke. Moreover, the current her had Jiang Shiwan's face and Jiang Shiwan's acting skills. Even if she wanted to start all over again, with such a good opportunity now, why would she waste her good cards? Moreover, even if she failed the auditions for a few movies, she could let Li Yin help her get the female lead of a movie. There was an agreement anyway, wasn't there? Of course, she wouldn't touch the agreement if she could. After all, Li Yin wasn't omnipotent. After sorting out her thoughts, Shiwan turned off her computer and tidied herself up. She planned to have a good sleep and then relax herself tomorrow. She would prepare for the auditions for the female lead of the geisha of the Tang dynasty the day after tomorrow in the best manner possible. Mingri was going to be the female lead of the geisha of the Tang dynasty. Shiwan followed He Min and arrived at the selection venue for the female lead of the records of the geisha of the Tang dynasty under the company's arrangements. The venue was a hall on the second floor of the building and an office in the hall. It was a rather unprofessional place and could be said to be simple and crude. Was this the style of the new director? The office was used for the director's selection of the male and female lead, as well as the 2 male and 2 female leads. The hall was used for the assistant director selection of the 3 male and 3 female leads, as well as other actors. Therefore, the moment Shiwan entered, she saw a sea of people in the hall. Most of the people present were small actors with small assistants. There were men and women, young and old, all sorts of people. Everyone was discussing quietly, but the volume of their voices added up was deafening. The staff had no choice but to hold a small loudspeaker and hand out small notes to the irrelevant people to leave. The relevant people sat in an orderly manner and waited for the audition. Naturally, there was no lack of people in the entertainment industry who had a lot of extras. They looked at the script calmly and fought to get a good role. Shiwan's beautiful appearance naturally attracted a lot of attention. Of course, this included the staff who received her. When the staff saw that Shiwan was holding an invitation card from Sky Shadow, his eyes lit up. He led Shiwan to the internal office. After the task was completed, the staff even said, "Good luck. I wish you a successful audition." Although the size of the internal office was not as big as the hall, it was quite spacious. Although there were many fewer people than the hall, there were actually quite a lot of them. Many of them were Shiwan's familiar faces. It was likely that this internet novel with a big IP attracted a lot of artistes to come for the audition. Shiwan looked around and saw that the first 2 rows were mostly filled with male actors, while the last 2 rows were filled with actresses. Obviously, the director had chosen the male lead and the second male lead first. Speaking of which, Shiwan had never encountered such a group audition before. Firstly, she acted and had always been allowed to choose from thousands of scripts. Secondly, according to the rules of the industry, most of the time, it was the big director who had figured out the script and had someone in mind. After sending the script to the management company, they would invite the female star in their hearts to come for an audition. If there were no mistakes, it would basically be this actress. But now the cast and crew was choosing a role like it was an audition for a show. Shiwan was a little embarrassed. She looked at many celebrities who had already debuted or were already quite popular in the industry, and her expression was a little awkward. But since she was here, she would just take it as it was. Shiwan looked at the time. There was still an hour before her audition, so she asked him in to go out and buy some food. Not long after, a female celebrity with sunglasses and a bun on her head sat next to her. The 2 assistants behind her were busy, and she sat leisurely in her seat, looking like a big shot. Shiwan felt that she looked familiar, but she did not recognize who she was. She looked at Shiwan, and her nostrils made a slight chi sound. Then, she lowered her head to look at her phone and play games. Not long after, there was another commotion at the door. A team walked in, and a few assistants surrounded the female artiste in the middle as if they were the stars surrounding the moon. The manager saw that there were a lot of people in the office, and she immediately pulled her long face down. She was obviously very unhappy. Why are there so many people? It's like a market. When she saw that the staff member had arranged for her female artiste to sit on one of the waiting chairs, she immediately became angry. She pointed at the staff member's nose with one hand. How do you do things? Our Tang Tang is an A-list celebrity. Don't you know how to set up a small independent office, sitting on such a chair arrogantly? It's very demeaning. Do you know the rules or not? Shiwan turned her head and finally realized that the female artiste who was surrounded by the crowd and watching her manager instruct the staff of Tang Dynasty with an expressionless face was the night before last. She was watching the fight between Zhao Ji's fans and Tang Tang's fans on Weibo, and the owner of one of them was Tang Tang. She won. Her EQ was so low. Even if she was just an ordinary staff member, she was still a member of the Tang Dynasty crew. Was it really good to slap the face of the Tang Dynasty crew just like that? Let me tell you, if you don't arrange a separate office for our Tang Tang, you'll have to wait and see. Although the staff member frowned, he then hinted to another staff member to get the person in charge over. After all, he was just a small fry. The person in front of him was a well-known artist, and he really couldn't afford to offend her. Therefore, he kept bowing and nodding his head, apologizing nonstop. I'm sorry. Because the filming crew is about to start filming, it's really very busy. The casting is simple and crude. Please don't be angry. Please don't be angry. The manager saw the staff member bowing. He became even more overbearing. Is there any use in apologizing? The most important thing is to find a small office for our artist. Our artist is not like these nameless and unknown artists who can sit proudly in public. Yes. The staff member nodded. What a waste, the manager muttered. Shiwan was really convinced. Although the artistes who came for the audition were not very famous and were only second or third rate at most, what did he think of Tang Tang, an artiste who did not even have a single movie, who had only acted in a few silly and Sweet Mary Sue popular idol dramas and gained some popularity, just arrogantly pointed at the staff member and kept firing shots? And this Tang Tang, did she really want to get into the movie industry? Her EQ was so low that she actually allowed her manager to make enemies for her everywhere without stopping. She was drunk. One had to know how many artistes were in the big screen. Although some of them were not very popular, they could really kill a newbie like Tang Tang with just a word. Okay? She really did not know where she got her confidence from. A female artiste who did not have a representative's work and had an undeserved reputation. Did she really think that the film crew would give her an audition invitation for the female lead, and she would be able to take the female lead role in the movie with just her loud voice online? Sure enough, the female artiste who wore sunglasses and combed her hair stood up. Shiwan then remembered that this slightly familiar female artiste was the other female lead in the battle between Zhao Tang's fans, Zhao Ji. Zhao Ji slowly sat down and smiled at Tang Tang. Oh my, Tang Tang, it's been a long time since we last met. You're getting more and more beautiful. Actually, it's quite good to sit anywhere. We can still chat. Brother Li, what do you think? Brother Li was Tang Tang's manager. Seeing that Zhao Ji, who was as popular as her artiste, was also sitting there, he looked a little embarrassed. Then, he looked at the staff who were all submissive. Many of the small artistes around him were filled with admiration when they thought that their goal of deterrence had been achieved. They coughed and said, "Well, since it's inconvenient, then forget it." Then they said to the staff member, "You guys better be careful in the future. Don't be so unreliable." The staff member nodded in agreement. Oh, I thought someone was here. They made such a big fuss and scolded our staff members so badly. Just as this matter came to an end, a clear male voice was heard from the other side of the room. Everyone looked up and saw a man wearing a blue casual shirt and khaki pants walking in front of everyone. Director Gu. The staff member nodded. So this was Gu Yi, the genius director who had just graduated from a B film directing department. He was tall and had fair skin. Although he looked ordinary, he had a scholarly air about him that made him look quite comfortable. I thought it was some A-list celebrity who graced us with his presence and made our production team shine. It turns out, he stopped and changed his tone. He asked the staff member in a low voice, "They are?" He looked gentle and amiable with a good temper. The moment he opened his mouth, Tang Tang's team, who had originally intended to keep the peace, had their faces darkened. Tang Tang, the female lead in Dew of the Golden Wind. Gu Yi frowned. Dew of the Golden Wind. I've never heard of such a movie in China. She once stifled a laugh in her heart. What a good Gu Yi. What a slap in the face. Tang Tang's face alternated between black and blue. Just as she was about to throw a tantrum, she remembered that the person in front of her was the director who would decide whether she stayed or left. She had no choice but to smile. Director, I'm sorry. This is a drama starring me. I've never acted in a movie before. Gu Yi looked at Tang Tang and smiled, but his smile could not reach his eyes. Oh, I was wondering why I haven't heard of it before. By the way, my staff came over to tell me that you have a need? No, director. Oh, that's good. Then he said to the staff, don't come to me for everything. I'm very busy and I don't have enough time. Seriously, if you come to me for every trivial matter, do you still want to film or not? Yes. Gu Yi turned around and smiled at Tang Tang's team. Then I'll go over first. I really can't spare time. I can't wait to be in 2 places at once. Okay, director. Take care. Gu Yi nodded and left. On the other side of the room, Zhao Ji led Tang Tang and sat beside Wan. Due to the popularity of the two of them, a lot of gazes were cast toward Wan. Before long, they naturally noticed the fresh faces next to the 2 popular TV dramas. They were all wondering, who is this which artiste is so good-looking? Is he a newcomer? After Zhao Ji chatted with Tang Tang for a while, Hemin bought some food and walked over, handing it to Wan. Sister Lisa just called to say that after the audition is over, you should consider the audition for spring and autumn in the afternoon. She told you not to put all your eggs in one basket. It's not worth it. The audition for spring and autumn was held at Huafeng's film and television base. Wan did not want to act in it in the first place, and when she saw the specific address, she did not want to go, because she was not completely ready to see them. Zhao Ji and Tang Tang had also heard the conversation between Hemin and Wan. They could not help but be surprised. They looked at each other and then carefully examined Wan. What a beautiful face. However, there were many beautiful women in the entertainment industry. Even the most beautiful among them did not have any background, so they were nothing. They knew about Spring and Autumn, the new movie directed by Huang Santian. What was the background of the woman on this side? Not only did she get an audition invitation for Tang Dynasty, but she also got an audition invitation for Spring and Autumn. Most importantly, judging from her assistant's words, she did not seem to be interested in an audition invitation for Spring and Autumn. After all, they had been debuting in the industry for 5 to 6 years. This year, they only managed to get an invitation for Tang Dynasty. This was all thanks to the online votes that made the producers notice them. Usually, they had no way of getting into the movie business. Zhao Ji changed her previous disdain and looked at Wan with a pleasant expression. Hey, you look quite unfamiliar. Are you a newcomer? Wan nodded. Tang Tang joined the chat group. So you're still a newcomer. Her heart was full of jealousy. She had been in the entertainment industry for years before she finally found a stepping stone to the movie industry. And this woman in front of her, who had never acted in a movie before, she was on equal footing with her even before she debuted. Which company are you from? Sky Shadow. Sky Shadow, that's a good company. The two of them said in unison, but there was still a hint of surprise and jealousy in their words. They did not expect such a newcomer to have such a big background. Even before she debuted, the company had already promoted good movie resources to her. It was obvious that they valued her very much. If nothing unexpected happened, she would be another rising star in the entertainment industry. All right, are you auditioning for the first or second female lead this time? Although they were hoping for a fluke, they still hoped that this female artiste, who was highly praised by the management company, would not have a conflict of interest with them. First female lead. Zhao Ji and Tang Tang chuckled, then turned their heads away and stopped recruiting Wan. Then, the two of them took a photo together, and Tang Tang uploaded it to Weibo, meeting a good friend at an audition, sticking out her tongue. Are we beautiful? Zhao Ji forwarded beauty picking her nose, saying that we're not beautiful, stand out. Let's talk about Doge. Once this Weibo post was posted, it instantly became a hot topic. The fans below said, F asterisk CK, this dog. One had to know that the two sides had been fighting for the past 2 days, and it had been quite a big fight. In the blink of an eye, their boss was like a best friend. Hence, the comments were all the same. Goddess is beautiful. There were also fans who tried to mediate. Everyone, stop arguing. They're good friends. We should unite. Of course, there were also fans who asked. Boss said it was an audition. Is it for the role of Tang Dynasty? Then, the fans expressed that they would be happy to see who would play Bai Shuang between the two of them. This comment was even praised as the most popular one. At the same time, there are also a few new topics that popped up. Hashtag Zhao Ji and Tang Tang. Tian Tian hashtag. The best friend in the entertainment industry. It really shocked a lot of passersby. This fantasy world, they really couldn't keep up with the pace. Xiwan didn't check her Weibo, so she naturally didn't know about the online world. It had been turned upside down in an hour. On the other side, the male lead and the second lead had finally finished their auditions. It was the female lead and the second lead's turn to audition. Xiwan was ranked third. As a veteran artiste who had lived under the spotlight for more than 10 years, she wasn't nervous at all. On the other hand, Hemin, who was standing beside her, was sweating profusely. Xiwan patted her. Go sit over there for a while. Hemin saw that Xiwan didn't look like a newcomer at all. She was calm and composed, and then she saw that Xiwan was a newcomer that the company had been supporting this year, so she wasn't worried anymore. Soon, it was Xiwan's turn to enter the audition venue. The director, Gu Yi, and the producer sat on the right side and smiled at Xiwan, who had just entered. Introduce yourself first. There was a hint of fatigue in Gu Ye's tone. Tian Ying, Jiang Xiwan. Jiang Xiwan. The interviewers were surprised. Xiwan knew. She probably thought of her previous name again and had to explain San Shui Shi, female, 1111. Gui nodded and then looked at the information about Xiwan. After thinking for a moment, he picked out an A4 and handed it to Xiwan. Act out the content of the part above when Bai Shuang left Li Yi. Xiwan took it. As she had seen the original, she was naturally confident of the emotions in it. There was not much content on the A4 paper. Scene: Shaoxiang Pavilion, Green Wave Pavilion. Characters: Li Yi, Bai Shuang. Bai Shuang mournfully. I come to bid farewell to your highness. Li Yi was silent. Nothing to say? Bai Shuang choked. I wish your highness good health and success in everything. From now on, I will be a beautiful wife and live a happy life. Li Yi's expression was ugly. That's all? Bai Shuang smiled and cried. I will be far away and pray for the royal highness. Li Yi was angry. You are so cruel. You're leaving me just like that? You are willing to hand over the position of the princess consort? Where are you putting my love? Bai Shuang, say it. Bai Shuang was silent. Royal highness, don't make things difficult for me. Li Yi was injured. Difficult? Good, go stay far away from me, pretend that I never met you in this life, Bai Shuang. Bai Shuang, I'll take my leave. Xiwan looked at the content. It was only a short paragraph, but the relationship between the male and female lead had already turned a few rounds, especially the control of many facial details. I'll give you 10 minutes to prepare. Xiwan nodded. Actually, Xiwan's lines only had 5 lines, but 5 lines required 5 faces. On the big screen, the pores on the face were magnified countless times, not to mention the expression. Fortunately, this was not difficult for her. 10 minutes later, Xiwan was ready. Gu Yi said, Are you ready? Xiwan nodded. Yes. Xiwan stood alone on the stage with a faint smile on her face. However, there was a strong love in her eyes. Because she could not get it, there was a strong sadness in her eyes. It was as if she was crying and complaining. I am here to say goodbye to your highness. Her voice was gentle, just like her. After a long time, Xiwan's face showed a trace of heartache, but it turned into tenacity. Every word was as painful as if it was carved into her heart, but she still smiled. I wish your highness good health and good luck. From now on, Jiaer will be a lovely wife and live a happy life. After that, she listened quietly. After that, her eyes turned red, and she still smiled brightly. I will be far away, praying for the Royal Highness. After a long while, 11 Wan's hands clenched into fists, as if she wanted to use this method to transfer the pain in her heart to her hands. Her tone was calm, and she said slowly, "The Royal Highness, don't make things difficult for me." After that, she lowered her head and tried her best to endure the pain in her heart. Her voice was soft and weak. "I will take my leave." She turned around, and the tears that she had been holding back for a long time flowed out of her eyes. One drop, 2 lines. Her steps were first staggering, and in the end, she walked faster and faster. The entire scene was beautiful and refined, causing everyone who saw it to feel a great heartache. They could not help but shout in their hearts, "Li, hurry up and chase after her. Hurry up and chase after her. Your Bai Shuang is leaving." Clap, clap, clap. The applause continued to ring out. Guye's eyes were filled with amazement. He really did not expect that the female lead, who had been giving him a headache for a long time, would actually run in her here today. Moreover, she was a wonderful person with excellent color and acting skills. She was truly at the end of her rope, and there was a bright future ahead. One had to know that even if he could not pick a female lead, the investors would still ask him to find a popular actress to act in it. Otherwise, they would not have sent 2 invitation cards to 2 female celebrities who were not well known in the television industry. Guye's face tensed up before he heaved a sigh of relief. His eyes were sparkling as he looked at his partner beside him. Everyone nodded in agreement. "Miss Jiang, please go back and wait for the news." Guye smiled, "But I believe that we will meet on the set." This was already a very tactful way of telling Shiwan, "It's definitely you." However, there's still many people waiting for the audition, so the process still needs to go through. We can't let them come here in vain. Shiwan's phoenix eyes were sparkling. Hope. This was a good start, wasn't it? Shiwan left the interview venue and called Heemin for a private car to pick her up. She got into a taxi, and Heemin asked, "How was it?" Heemin was really holding it in at the interview venue earlier and didn't dare to ask at all. Without so many actors and actresses, the pressure of coming out was really much less. She subconsciously asked Shiwan. Shiwan smiled. Nothing unexpected. Heemin was so happy. That's great. But wait for the specific contract. After all, the contract had not been officially signed, and everything was subject to change. Who knew whether the investors would choose an unknown newcomer like her or the extremely popular Tang Tang and Zhao Ji? Heemin nodded. Then should we go to Huafeng Film and Television Base to audition for spring and autumn now? Heemin felt that if she could act in a big director's movie, she would be able to act in one. She would be rich, famous, and have accumulated experience. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, how great would that be? Shiwan. Heemin did not have any intention of changing 11 Wan's mind. After that, the 2 of them returned to Sky Shadow. Lisa saw that Shiwan had returned early, and she had a slight headache. "Are you sure it's you?" Shiwan smiled. "Have some confidence in me. I'm very good." Lisa felt a slight headache. She only hoped that the higher-ups would quickly find a proper manager to bring Jiang Shiwan along. Although her face was very good and her acting skills had yet to be tested, even though she had heard from Teacher Tan when that she was very good, she had never acted in real life in front of the big screen before. However, could she not be so confident? Could she not have a sense of crisis? Moreover, you only had so many jobs in a month, yet you only ran one. What if you fail? Lazy cancer was an illness that needed to be treated. Shiwan, who had left for no reason, expressed that she wanted to go back to see her mother in school. Lisa waved her hand and agreed. Shiwan went back to her home first. Her mother was very happy to hear that Shiwan was back today. She bought a lot of vegetables and cooked a table full of them. Maybe it was because the place she slept in was better now, and Shiwan didn't want her money anymore. Instead, she gave her a lot of pocket money. Her mother, who was originally dry, gradually became mellow. Shiwan bought a small shop nearby. It cost about 200,000 yuan, and it was decorated. She told her mother that it was rented and let her cook there. This way, her mother didn't have to be like before. She didn't have to depend on the Chengguan. After a period of time, not only was the turnover not bad, but her skin color had also become fairer. She also became more fashionable. Seeing her mother like this, Xiwan thought that this was the best way to repay her predecessor. After having a reunion dinner, Xiwan went back to school the next day. Xiwan had almost finished her school thesis, so the current Xiwan really had a lot of free time. She went to the library for a day. In the evening, she called Sun Huayu and Qian Mingfei, whom she hadn't seen for a long time, to have a meal at the famous yogurt and fish restaurant near the school. The business of this shop was always booming, mainly because the signature dishes were cheap and good. The shop had expanded twice, but there were still many customers who could not find a table to eat, so they could only wait foolishly. Fortunately, Xiwan and the others came early, so they did not have no place to sit. The three little girls ordered a pot of fragrant yogurt and fish, a bowl of shining red blood curd, an egg yolk pumpkin, a lettuce with oyster sauce, and 3 fresh ground vegetables. They ate a few bottles of red herbal tea and talked about the interesting things that had happened recently. It's been a long time since I've seen you guys. I miss you. Is Li Qing still filming her MV in Lijiang, Yunnan? Xiwan nodded. Yes, I think she'll finish filming it in a few days. I'm so envious. It's a public holiday, and she's been taking selfies every day on her Weibo. She's really getting better and better. She's becoming more and more star-like. Haha, you guys can do it too. Do you want to come to the entertainment industry? Sun Huayu and Qian Mingfei shook their heads in unison. Forget it. We know what we're capable of. It would be a pity if the two of you didn't go to the entertainment industry to develop. By the way, Xiwan, what have you been up to recently? Sun Huayu asked after eating a piece of egg yolk pumpkin and taking a sip of herbal tea. I just finished auditioning for Records of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty. This novel is super popular. It's been trending even before it's aired. If you act in this movie, you'll definitely become famous in one shot. Sun Huayu said excitedly. It was rare for the usually calm Sun Huayu to lose her composure. Qian Mengfei teased. Huayu, it's rare for you to be so excited. Sun Huayu glanced at Qian Mingfei and said, 2 yen. Then she asked Xiwan, did you get the role? Xiwan nodded. Nothing unexpected. Qian Mingfei asked, Huayu. We didn't even ask Xiwan what role she was playing. All right, Xiwan. Is she the female lead or the second female lead? The female lead. Sun Huayu was even more surprised. Female lead, oh. To be honest, she had always thought of Xiwan as the second female lead. First of all, Xiwan was a newcomer. Although she was good-looking, she was not a newcomer after all. Secondly, the discussion on the movie's website was already very heated. There were even male and female actors selected. Speaking of which, have you seen yesterday's trending Weibo? Qian Mingfei seemed to have thought of something and asked Xiwan. Xiwan shook her head. Sun Huayu said, Xiwan doesn't have Weibo anymore. I've registered. You've registered? The two of them were shocked. Then they said, quickly follow us. I followed you. Sunset not too late. Hence, the two of them took out their phones and searched for this account. When they saw the ID that looked like a zombie fan, they instantly said, after following each other, Sun Huayu started to ridicule. Only 8 fans. TSK, Jiang Xiwan. You're someone who wants to be a big star. Why don't you properly manage your Weibo? Seriously, 32 followers, 0 Weibo, and 8 fans. It was too shabby, too shabby. It didn't look like someone who wanted to be a female celebrity's Weibo at all. Qian Mingfei was even more ruthless, directly pulling out Zhou Liqing's Weibo. Look, Liqing's Weibo already has 150,000 fans. Are you embarrassed? Only 8 fans. Don't be all zombie fans. Qian Mingfei clicked in. He didn't know that if he didn't click in, he would be shocked once he clicked in. There was actually a big yellow V following 11-1 then. He clicked in along the big V. Lijian, F *CK, your boss. Xiwan nodded. F *CK. He's following you. Is there something going on between the two of you? As she said this, Qian Mingfei smiled sinisterly. Xiwan, you're thinking too much. The boss is unworldly. Aren't you the same? You two are perfect for each other. Qian Mingfei answered very quickly. Xiwan. Sun Huayu said earnestly. Xiwan, wow. Your profile picture. Can you change it to your selfie? Not at the moment. She liked this account and was free, but if it became a big account, she would be restrained. She didn't want this account to become like Jiang Shiwan's account, and in the end, only pictures could be taken. Nowadays, all artists have two accounts. Some people even open a small account to fight with anti-fans, such as that silly Lu E. Exactly. Why don't you open Jiang Shiwan's account and we'll run it for you? Ha ha. I want to be a reporter. I'll definitely turn your account into a joke. Qian Mingfei rubbed his hands and blinked at Shiwan. Forget it. Shiwan should be a cold goddess. Don't let her be down to earth, okay? Sun Huayu immediately denied. But Shiwan, a small account, is necessary. Shiwan thought about it, nodded, and registered another account, but her luck wasn't good. Jiang Shiwan 0102 05's ID was all taken, and these ID portraits were all pictures of her. The people at school must have secretly taken pictures of her side profile. It was quite hazy and had a mood. Were these people her fans? So Shiwan had no choice but to change her ID to Jiang Shiwan 06. Awkward. Shiwan took a selfie and casually uploaded it. Then, the two friends followed Shiwan's new account again and urged her, Quick, Shiwan, post a photo of us having dinner together on Weibo, and then let's take a photo together. So, the three of them took a photo together. Shiwan's new account posted the first post on Weibo. School's yogurt and fish restaurant is having dinner with friends. At Liqing is cute, but unfortunately, you're in Yunnan and can't eat it. A photo of the three of them taking a photo together, and a table full of delicious food. Seeing Shiwan post this, Qian Mingfei immediately forwarded the post on Weibo. Dancing Goddess's best friend is treating happy. Sun Huayu followed Qian Mingfei. Dancing, it's time to have dinner with Goddess's best friend. Happy. Because Qian Mingfei and Sun Huayu were related to Zhou Liqing. The message that tagged Zhou Liqing was naturally a reminder to Zhou Liqing. Zhou Liqing saw Shiwan's ID at a glance, and then followed. Shiwan forwarded the message. The three of you are too bad. Don't wait for me, woo Shiwan. When you come back, I will eat you until you are poor. Zhou Liqing's Weibo account was neither too big nor too small. There were still many people who followed her waiting for news about Goddess Jiang Shiwan. Now that they suddenly saw that Goddess had opened her Weibo, they flocked to Jiang Shiwan's Weibo and followed. Shiwan, there was a clamor below. Goddess, you finally opened your Weibo. I've been waiting for so long that even the flowers are going to thank you. Wah, the goddess really has no blind spots. It's so beautiful, so nice. After that, the Weibo celebrity from University A and Zhou Liqing had already started to follow each other. They also shared this Weibo. The goddess' personal Weibo is unmistakable. The campus belle of our university is finally here. Those who like it, hurry up and follow her. The Weibo reposts of Jiang Shiwan's photos on the internet had already been trending. This time, Shiwan had opened her Weibo and included 2 photos. Naturally, there was also a group of people who shared her looks. In an instant, she was trending for an hour. Then, the official Weibo of Tianning Entertainment noticed this Weibo and Shiwan's ID. It reposted Jiang Shiwan's Weibo. Beautiful Shiwan, come to Tianning Jun's bowl. At this moment, everyone remembered that Zhou Liqing had said when she showed Jiang Shiwan's photos that she would be interviewing at Tianning with her friends. She hoped that she would succeed. So, the goddess had joined Tianning Media? So, the goddess would also be an artist in the future? When she looked at the forum, she realized that her company's official V had also followed her, so she replied to her fans. Then, there was the boss account in her recommended followers, so she followed the boss account. Qian Mingfei also took her phone. TSK, the number of retweets and comments, I have inexplicably gained a lot of fans. Sun Huayu nodded. Same. As expected of Shiwan. TSK. With her popularity, I'm not worried that 11 Wan will be ridiculed to death when she plays the female lead in Tang Dynasty. Huh. Yes, I was busy getting Shiwan to open a new account just now. I forgot to mention that it was yesterday's trending Weibo post. That Tang and Zhao Ji posted a group photo saying that they were auditioning for Tang Dynasty's geisha record and looked like they were best friends. Just the day before, the fans of both parties were still squinting at each other. In the blink of an eye, they were holding hands with the two brothers. This is simply too much. I'm also convinced by these two people. They're really smiling and taking photos together, as if we have a relationship. They're just using honey to play tricks on each other. Maybe they want to kill each other, and then what? And then there's the flood of fans. They're all on steroids, loving each other and their families. TSK, TSK. There are so many ID attacks that their parents are underground. Sigh. The brainless fans are so scary. Even their own parents don't see them protecting them like this. All right, these fans also said that as long as any one of them acts, they don't care. So I'm so worried that if it's really our Shi-Wan who plays this role, but I think our Shi-Wan's popularity is also very high. After hearing Qian Mengfei's ridicule, Sun Huayu frowned and was a little worried. Shi-Wan's foundation isn't deep after all. So it was hard to say whether this group of people who were clamoring to like Shi-Wan would become the group of people who were powerful like Shi-Wan. Weren't the netizens all like that they loved to imagine things, but when they found out that the reality was different from the truth in their own imaginations, they started spewing as if they were injected with stimulants. For example, during the audition this time, the netizens already had someone in their hearts. They suddenly realized that the female lead had appeared out of nowhere. There must be a group of people who had a one-sided wish to post. It must be an unspoken rule to get the role, and then thought that this goddess was just a superficial goddess who was secretly indulging in debauchery. So they started spouting nonsense. It had to be said that Sun Huayu was very far-sighted. Indeed, when the Tang Dynasty crew officially announced the female lead, there was a huge anti-Jiang Shi-Wan craze on the internet. Of course, this was for later. At this moment, the netizens were still admiring the goddess, Yin Li, who had no blind spots. Then, like a search engine, they wanted to dig up all kinds of details about the goddess. After having dinner with her friends, Shi-Wan took a taxi back to Qinshui apartment. Li Yin was filming in the largest film studio base in Z province, so she was the only one in the apartment. It was very lonely. Shi-Wan did not care. After all, she was not unfamiliar with this kind of loneliness. She boiled milk for herself and then put on a face mask. When she closed her eyes to rest, Shi-Wan received a call from Li Yin. She said cleanly, "Use your fake account to follow my fake account." Shi-Wan was stunned for a moment before she realized that Li Yin was talking about Weibo. She probably saw that she had opened Jiang Shi-Wan 06 Weibo account during the day, and Li Yin had also opened Li Yan's best account. As a result, she started to follow and follow. Li Yan's account was quite arrogant. There were only 5 followers: Li Zhan V, Zheng Yingying V, Tianing Official V, Chun Zaij, Jiang Shi-Wan 06. There was only one post on Weibo, My First Weibo, with a high-definition selfie, 9 squares. Then, Shi-Wan, who was following Tianing Official V, naturally saw this Tianing Official V repost. Miss Beautiful Cry. Love, love, kiss, kiss, kiss. Then, there was a wave of climax. Holy shit. Another beauty killer appeared out of nowhere. As I said earlier, Shi-Wan and Li Yin were completely different types of beauties. One was as strong as fire, one was as elegant as water, one was a demon from the demon world, and one was a fairy from the 9 heavens. For a time, Li Yan's Weibo also became a hot topic. Because they were all high-definition selfies, it was much clearer than Shi-Wan's casual shooting. Moreover, there were many beautiful pictures. The Weibo became the #1 of the Hot 24, and Shi-Wan's Weibo was the 5th. The fans of both of them were rapidly increasing. In just one night, both of them had 500,000 to 600,000 fans on their Weibo. Furthermore, both of them were genuine fans. The speed at which their fans were increasing was shocking. After all, the two of them had not debuted yet. Some big-name artists might not even be able to gain so many genuine fans in a day. This made the public relations team of Sky Shadow laugh heartily. These two people were indeed the rookies that they had been supporting this year. Look, they did not even have any works. The public relations team had not even bothered with them before they became famous themselves. In the future, as long as they pushed it, they would be able to quickly step into the A-list. While Heaven's Shadow was happy, the other public relations teams from other economic companies frowned, especially Huafeng's. In the eyes of Huafeng's public relations team, this year was simply their birth year. First, it was the company's #1 ace, and it could be said that the entertainment industry's #1 yo sister, Jiang Shuan, had committed suicide and passed away. Originally, she was already dead, but she had left behind a butt full of dark history. If it wasn't for this indecent video, the company could still take this opportunity to copy and sell the movies that she starred in and earn a lot of money. But in reality, they had also done so, but the netizens didn't buy it. Even though these CDs were all bought by Jiang Shuan's diehard fans, the small amount of money they earned wasn't even enough. Secondly, the newly promoted movie Queen Sun Wanyu, who had gone through so much trouble to wash away the bad movie king. Not only did she not continue to make money for the company, but she even had a child before marriage, and her partner was her own boss. It wasn't a normal relationship with her own boss, but the relationship between the financier and the mistress, although the industry was well aware of it. But so the public relations team had to go all out to cover up this stain, and they also had to create a situation where she and her boss were in a normal relationship, loving and pregnant, but they didn't have any plans to get married at the moment. So everything went according to plan. Forget it, boss did not care about this Sun Wanyu at all. He was just playing around. Moreover, many media outlets had actually captured the scene of her arguing with boss. The reason why these news had not been exposed was because the public relations team, were cleaning up after her. It was really tiring, and they had not received any bonuses yet. Then there were the new recruits this year. Most of them were barely satisfactory, although there were also some with good qualifications. Compared to the 2 new recruits that Tianying had recruited, they were really nothing. All in all, the current state of the entire Huafeng public relations team was working overtime every day. It was tiring, and they still had to be spouted by the heads of the higher-ups. It was simply a thankless task. When they saw that there were so many good seedlings from the neighboring family, and 2 of them came in one go, they really couldn't help but be so jealous that their eyes turned red. Then, the next work came. Since they couldn't get such seedlings, if they were blackmailed and destroyed, it would be the next work of their own family. There was still work to be done. All right, after asking around, one of them was Tianying's own family's eldest daughter. That background was shining with golden light. Any random pile of them would be enough to make you dizzy. So, even if they had 100 guts, they wouldn't dare to blacken. So, the remaining one had to pray for good luck. Who asked them to pick the soft persimmon? Therefore, when she woke up the next day, Shiwan was still shocked at how quickly her little transparent had gained popularity. At the same time, she also saw the trending topic on Weibo, #Tianying's 2 new goddesses are on bad terms, hashtag no work can be popular, hype female, Jiang Shiwan hashtag. The first topic was clicked in to take a look. She threw out a lot of Weibo screenshots of Shiwan and Li Yin from some time ago. She also said with certainty that the 2 were on bad terms. There were also insiders who revealed that the 2 had been on bad terms since they were in the same school. Moreover, they had even made a big fuss at the entrance of Sky Shadow Management Company. The conclusion was that their character was extremely bad. The second topic was that this was a purposeful hype. First, they bribed the big V of the marketing account at university. Through his mouth, they let everyone know that there was such a person called Jiang Shiwan. Then, they deleted the Weibo post from the beginning. They kept everyone's appetite, and after a period of time, it would appear again. Then, it would be forwarded by Sky Shadow's official V to gain sufficient popularity. After that, they added their own conclusion. What a scheming woman, Jiang Shiwan. As expected, she looked as pure as a fairy on the surface, but in reality, These 2 topics, a discerning person could tell at a glance that she was being slandered. Shiwan clicked her tongue. Seriously, she hadn't even debuted yet, and was already being slandered. Fortunately, she was low-key and didn't have any dirt on her. Otherwise, wouldn't it cause even more trouble? Indeed, Huafeng's public relations had spent a lot of effort to dig up dirt on Jiang Shiwan, but the information they found was all-natural beauty without plastic surgery, 360 degrees without blind spots, low-key, diligent and frugal, top student, national first-class scholarship winner, Student Outstanding Representative, B City's Top 10 Youth. F asterisk CK. What kind of dirt is this pile of honors? Moreover, if these honors were to be posted online, the netizens would be even more excited, although this was an era that worshipped faces. Everyone worshipped high IQ straight. The students more after all. Faces could be fixed, but IQ was hard to come by therefore. If people knew that this Jiang Shiwan not only had outstanding looks, but was also a straight A student with honor attached to her, a lot of people would probably kneel down and lick her boots. Therefore, Hua Feng found a lot of internet trolls and could only stir up these two topics, hoping to make a portion of people have a bad impression of her. There would always be people who didn't like her turning into a hatchet man. As long as there were haters in the future, topics about her, they would definitely jump up and down and talk about these things. If they talked too much, people would believe them. If they believed them, more people would join this team of hatchet men. These would become a dark history that she could not shake off. Shiwan looked at these two topics. Needless to say, there must be internet trolls hired by the management company to hatchet her. Otherwise, as a person who had not debuted yet, how could anyone be so free to hatchet her? They even hatched two hot topics in one night. Those who had the ability to do this must be Heavenly Shadow's enemies. And with such swift and decisive methods, as far as she knew, it was either Hua Feng or Idol. So, Shiwan sent a selfie, bright smile to the sun, with the words, "At Li Yin best, I live alone in the apartment. It is very spacious. You're not here. You're not making any noise. You're sleeping like a baby. You couldn't be better." Li Yin quickly responded to Jiang Shiwan, this Weibo. Face smacking, you good dregs, you good dregs, you good dregs. Waiting for me to kill back. Noisy you can't sleep roar. Lay you ugly, I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. Shiwan replied to repost. So you finally admit that I am better looking than you, yes. Recognize yourself and make progress. Be good. I'll treat you to hot pot when I come back. Li Yin retweeted again. Wait for me to kill my way back and make your wallet bleed. Just you wait. So the first hot topic was really self-destructing. How could someone with a bad relationship respond immediately? And it was such a familiar joke. The fans below expressed, why are the two goddesses so narcissistic then? They looked at the selfie on top and silently felt stifled. Good looking, so confident, sigh. Shiwan went to the company, as usual. Sister Lisa was frowning. When she saw Shiwan come over, she beckoned Shiwan to sit down. You know you've been hacked, right? Shiwan nodded. What do you think? You can create two hot topics for me in one night. The other party must have spent a lot of money. Sister Lisa raised her eyebrows and looked at Shiwan. Then who do you think your enemy is? Quick reaction and efficient methods. Not many companies can do it. Shiwan smiled. Sister Lisa looked at Shiwan's smile and felt a little scared. Rookies nowadays really couldn't be underestimated. In the past, if a rookie knew that she had just started a Weibo post and was already being criticized by a lot of people, they would have come crying and asked her, what happened to Sister Lisa? In the end, Jiang Shiwan not only remained calm, but she was also able to point out the problem. TSK. This rookie who had not even entered the entertainment industry was able to understand the way the entertainment industry operated. It was not simple, but on second thought, it made sense. People nowadays were all shrewd. It was not like in the past where they relied on the media to operate. They would believe whatever the media said. Moreover, those who wanted to enter the entertainment industry probably touched the rules so much that they lost all their underpants. But it's also good to have someone to help you create hype. It also saves the company a large amount of public relations fees. No matter if it's slander or praise, it's better to have a topic to talk about than nothing. The company's intention is to let the topic hang for now and let the public get to know you first. When the time comes, the company will appear. HMPH, they really treat our Heavenly Shadows public relations as eating rice. When the time comes, we'll make them lose both the wife and the soldiers. Lisa was Heavenly Shadows public relations manager, so when it came to this aspect, she was really confident. After all, who in the entertainment industry had not been defamed before? In the end, it was all for naught. You had to know that time was the best detergent. However, if there was a good public relations team, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. After listening to Lisa's words, Shiwan nodded. In her opinion, the current detractors on Weibo were just a small matter. Compared to the video that appeared in the Golden Time Awards in her previous life, it could not be compared at all. That was her fatal blow. Thinking of this, Shiwan's eyes could not help but darken. In her last life, she took care of her feathers, but she didn't expect to be killed by a bitch because she didn't know who she was, and her reputation was ruined today. When everyone mentioned Jiang Shiwan, it was not because of her good acting skills, but because of her indecent videos, her debauchery, and her unspoken rules. She was simply infamous, and she could not tell the truth, clear her name, and bring the murderer to justice. Lisa waved her hand. By the way, I have some good news. The cast of Tang Dynasty called this morning and confirmed that you will be playing the female lead, Bai Shuang. Not bad, not bad. Keep up the good work. Shiwan's eyes lit up. This news was the best news Shiwan had heard since her rebirth. Lisa lowered her head and looked for information. She took out a piece of A4 paper and read it. Please take your final photo at Studio 3 of Honghu Film and Television Base on November 13th. Then she handed the paper to Shiwan with a smile. The contact number, address, and time are all available. Shiwan, you're amazing. Shiwan. Lisa really liked Shiwan, so she was very happy to see that Shiwan had really worked hard to get this popular movie role. Also, your account number, quickly apply for certification and ADV. Remember to update one Weibo post about your status every day. No less than 5 posts a week. Send more high-definition photos of yourself. In this age of face-based, this is a great way to attract fans. Shiwan, okay. Shiwan left the company and looked at her phone. She realized that it was already November 11th, and there were still 2 more days before the notice on A4 paper. She was not nervous at all since she was familiar with the makeup process. These 2 days were clearly her rare free time. Li Yin was still at the film and television base in Province C, while Zhou Liqing was far away in Lijiang. She had 2 good friends. One of them was a host at a television station, while the other was doing outdoor filming at a magazine company. Humans were indeed social animals. If one was alone for too long, one would feel lonely and uncomfortable. Shiwan got on the bus and planned to go back to school to take a look. She was in a day's midway, but she unknowingly stopped at a stop. When she got off the bus, she realized that she was standing at the bustling commercial street in City B. There were rows and rows of commercial buildings everywhere. There was a dazzling array of promotional posters for the Double 11 promotions. Shiwan was stunned and could not help but sigh at how time passed so quickly. Looking at the dense by atmosphere around her, she shook her head and smiled. The Singles' Day of the past had now become a day where the eyes of the merchants were shining as they stared at the customers' wallets. Thinking of her past life, because she was a superstar, she could still shop as she pleased abroad, but in China, it was basically difficult for her to take even a single step forward. Therefore, online shopping was also her usual pleasure of staying at home. So her account in a certain treasure had already become a gold crown. However, that account could no longer be used. After her rebirth, she had once wanted to buy something to enter that account. However, when she paid for it, the page could not be completed. The reason was that her personal bank card had already been canceled. As for the property inside, she had no relatives and no will. Therefore, all of it belonged to the state. Sigh. She also felt a wave of frustration. After working hard for so many years, she had finally accumulated some wealth and turned it all in. Fortunately, she had returned to her house in the beginning and received 3 million yuan. Only then could she make her current life less difficult. The streets were packed with people. Probably due to the holiday promotion, most of the pedestrians were full of joy. There were also many bags in their hands. Many of them were still not satisfied. They carried their bags and kept killing their way in and out. They were shopping like diamonds, and jewelry were cabbages. Bye. Perhaps due to their happiness from the inside out, or the thought that her future would return to the shackles and oppression from before, Shiwan stepped into the relatively familiar new light world. Taking advantage of the time that she had, she took advantage of the fact that she was not famous yet and still had free time to buy. In the end, Shiwan had underestimated her popularity on the internet. She had just entered a clothing store when she was recognized by a young shop assistant. Are you the popular Jiang Shiwan on Weibo? Shiwan, I'm buying clothes. Oh, okay. The shop assistant immediately nodded and went forward to introduce the store's features to Shiwan very enthusiastically. Shiwan looked around casually. Her gaze moved past the red, yellow, blue, and green and stopped on a long white down jacket. The shop assistant was very excited. This is a classic, and it's selling very well. Shiwan nodded. She just thought that she might need it for the upcoming shoot. The shop assistant took a photo secretly when Shiwan was about to enter the fitting room with the down jacket. She sighed to herself. The silhouette of the beauty was really heartwarming. When Shiwan came out in the white down jacket, the shop assistant enthusiastically talked to Shiwan about the pros and cons of the jacket. Not long after, the shop assistant smiled cheekily. Can I take a photo with you? I'll give you an internal discount on the clothes. Shiwan, is this the benefit of being good-looking? The shop assistant's heart melted when she saw Shiwan's adorable look. She wished she could give the clothes to Shiwan. After all, Shiwan was going to be a big star in the future. But she couldn't afford to give it to Shiwan. This was really a sad story. So in the end, Shiwan bought this long white down jacket at a very beautiful price. When Shiwan left, the shop assistant excitedly posted on Weibo, I actually met the popular person on Weibo, Jiang Shiwan. She's really breathtakingly beautiful in real life, and she's super good, and the most important thing to say 3 times. She's so cute, oh my God. How can there be such a beautiful person in this world? I think God must have spent all his energy when sculpting her. That's why he casually pinched me and secretly took a photo with my profile picture. Shiwan was still at the center of the topic. When many netizens searched for Jiang Shiwan, real-time Weibo would pop up. Many of Shiwan's fans forwarded it and exclaimed how beautiful it was. However, there were also sharp-eyed people. This is from my Yumiyu counter, right? She's just a student. How could she have so much money to buy clothes from your shop? When these words were said, it really stirred up 1,000 ripples. There were endless claims of being kept by the financier. It seemed that the evidence was conclusive and could not be denied. In an instant, reposts and searches were uploaded. All kinds of for the right turn came out one after another. The shop assistant looked at her Weibo in shock. She realized that she seemed to have made a big mistake and immediately deleted her previous Weibo post. However, it was useless. Someone had already saved a screenshot. The shop assistant could only continue to post on her Weibo. Why are there so many people using the most malicious speculation on others? Is it because I'm not doing well, so you think that everyone is like you don't think that others are as poor as you just because you can't afford it? Ever since Jiang Shiwan took a photo with her, she had completely fallen into Shiwan's brain-dead fan. The shop assistant's comment naturally won the support of many Shiwan fans. But then, there was another problem. A university student came out and revealed that Jiang Shiwan was actually very poor. After 3 years of university, other than working hard to complete her studies, the biggest thing she did was work part-time. The clothes she wore didn't even exceed 300 yuan. How could such a student have the money to buy the latest down jacket at the MyYumiU counter? Therefore, this topic didn't diminish. Instead, it became a hot topic. Huafeng's public relations team was determined to focus on Shiwan's 500 yuan. After seeing such dirt, how could they not make good use of it? So, they increased the money and bought a high-level internet troll army. It was well said, and convincing. In any case, most people thought that for such a super poor student to suddenly be so rich, it would be strange if she wasn't taken care of. Therefore, the evidence of Jiang Shiwan being taken care of was already irrefutable on the internet. If the fans refuted with concrete evidence, it would be a slander, and they would be labeled as brainless fans. Without brains, they would go home to study more and pursue less celebrities. Then, the clothes that Shiwan wore when she entered the shop were also found to be Chanel's. Although some people said that it was a high-quality imitation, the original picture was secretly taken, and the pixel was not high. Although there were still some fans who did not want to believe in Shiwan, many people had already wavered. Shiwan returned to her room and remembered Lisa's instructions. She took a selfie and opened her Weibo. Just as she was about to update it, she saw tens of thousands of posts and comments, as well as new friends. Her fans had already reached 1.05 million, and the rate of increase was indeed astonishing. She then opened the comments, which were full of obscenities. Slut, you're a mistress. Right, the financier is an ugly gossip. Right, does the financier satisfy you, slut? Does that man satisfy you? Do you want your brother to F***ck you? Shiwan looked at the screen full of foul language. Even though she had been in the entertainment industry for a long time and had been criticized, she could not help but frown. What's going on? Shiwan took a few glances and looked at the trending searches on the side. Only then did she realize that she had only shopped at the mall to buy a piece of clothing before she was hacked. She looked at the comments of the netizen who had forwarded the most comments and could not help but secretly sigh at how meticulous this person was. She immediately scolded herself for living too comfortably and being stupid. It was true. In the eyes of the public, a poor student who had been busy with the economy all day long did not have the financial strength to buy light and luxurious goods, although she had already restrained herself. However, since her predecessor had worked part-time for 3 years, in fact, she did not have any savings, but other than herself, who else would know about this? Then, Shiwan put on the long white down jacket of Mayumiyu and took a selfie. She posted on Weibo, "The weather is cold. Everyone pay attention to keep warm. P.S. After working part-time for 3 years, you will officially enter society. You don't need the clothes from before. You can only buy a new one. Haha. Are you guys like me when you are about to graduate? Stick out your tongue." This counterattack is really too insightful. Smart people immediately automatic translation. 1. I have part-time job for 3 years, have savings. 2. Who did not graduate from college to buy a mess of clothes to put aside and replace the high-grade 3 she is about to debut. Do not wear 200 or 300 clothes. This God translation immediately received a lot of people like the agreement. Yes, who did not graduate from college to buy cheap goods piled aside to replace the high grade. Who wouldn't wash the dishes as they entered society if you didn't dress well. There was a guarantee that people would gossip and look down on you. If you dressed well, there was no telling whether people would fawn over you or not. At least they wouldn't make things too difficult for you. Most people were like this. Moreover, this Jiang Shuan was about to enter the entertainment industry and become a big star, yet you still didn't allow anyone to buy a Mayumiyu. Thus, the evidence of this sugar daddy that had been causing a ruckus for the entire afternoon was obviously not tenable. Then, many of the fans that had originally supported Jiang Shuan turned into hardcore fans. Many of the wavering fans also made up their minds to become hardcore fans. Many passers-by also turned into fans when they saw Jiang Shuan's Weibo. For a time, the name Jiang Shuan became more and more well-known on the internet. Her fans also accumulated in the tens of thousands. After posting on Weibo, it was indeed trending in less than an hour. Although Shuan's fans had put in a lot of effort, Huafeng's high-level troll army had also contributed greatly. Even though they were slapped in the face, they were still on the front lines. They were conscientious and busy. Their fingers were typing rapidly on the keyboard as netizens left comments one after another. TSK, TSK. This ability to quibble was too strong. No wonder they want to be in the entertainment industry. It was too fake. A slut was a slut. They had really done something in a certain brand industry, yet they still wanted to set up a landmark. It was too shameless. The fans retorted. Passers-by turned into fans. Passers-by turned into haters. All in all, the comments under Shuan's Weibo had spread. The next day, probably because of Double 11, the netizens were busy losing weight, or the people who were supposed to watch the show had finished watching. The comments below were finally not as crazy as last night. After that, Shuan received a phone call from Lisa. Lisa's meaning was to tell her not to be anxious. Her every move now was being watched by the troll army. The netizens were watching. In a few days, the cast and crew of Tang Dynasty would continue to release information and photos of the actors according to the character who was previously involved in the roles. She would definitely not be spared. She might even be better than the people who were previously criticized. After all, her popularity. It was because of a few photos and not her work. In addition, she was now in the middle of the storm. She was even labeled as a sugar daddy. Therefore, the company's public relations would focus on those few days. Shiwon naturally agreed to the company's arrangements. Shiwon stayed in the dormitory today and did not go out. After the incident yesterday, she was not in the mood to go out. She simply took out her phone and read the original novel of the records of the geisha of the Tang dynasty. After reading it, she read the script again. This movie was based on the principle of respecting the original and restoring the novel to the greatest extent. In Shiwon's opinion, it was true. This script was only based on the original and embellished the plot, making the content more logical and the character image more full and three-dimensional. Shiwon estimated that the director probably played a big role in the crew being so serious. According to the audition that day, she had a good impression of him. She hoped that they could get along well in the following days. It was the 13th in the blink of an eye. Early in the morning, Heemin drove her QQ car to Chinshui apartment to pick up 11 won. Because Shiwon gave her 2 days off, Heemin was full of energy and was in high spirits. Even a child could be born on the road, so she drove happily. When they arrived at Studio 3 of Honghu Film and Television Base, Guyi stood at the side and watched the cameraman film the actors who were already dressed in ancient costumes. When he saw Jiang Shiwan come in, he smiled with a serious face and said, "You're here, Xiaoqin. Quickly take her to the dressing room and change her clothes." "Okay." Shiwan nodded and followed Guyi's assistant into the dressing room. The dressing room was quite big. There were already 3 actors sitting there and letting the makeup artist do their makeup. There were also many people waiting by the side. The artists who were doing their makeup had their eyes closed and let the makeup artist apply makeup on their faces. The makeup artist also lowered his head and quickly applied makeup on their faces. Many people who were waiting recognized Jiang Shiwan when they saw her. After all, she had been a popular customer for the past 2 days. Many people were guessing what role she was playing. Xiaoqin led 11 to his seat and looked around. "Is Teacher Zhou here?" "Teacher Zhou is still on the road. There's a traffic jam," one of the makeup artists replied without looking up. "He should be here soon." Xiaoqin nodded. This person had always been speaking of the devil. The moment Xiaoqin nodded, Zhou Dong carried the makeup case. "You're late." Shiwan followed the voice and saw a short man with exquisite facial features carrying a large black makeup case. He appeared in everyone's sight. Shiwan knew this man. He was her former nemesis, Zhou Dong, who used to be her personal makeup artist. This man was also a big shot in the beauty industry. He was famous for his poisonous mouth, but his craftsmanship was also proportional to his poisonous mouth. As a result, many big shot female artistes were willing to appoint him as their own makeup artist. However, he was also arrogant and only applied makeup to big shot A-list celebrities, B-list and C-list artistes. HMPH, go away. He was also hosting a beauty makeup program at Apple Station, and the viewership ratings were quite high. Shiwan really didn't expect him to appear in the makeup room of a film crew. Xiaoqin warmly welcomed him over. "Teacher Zhou, it's not too late, it's just right. Come, this is the female lead of our film crew, Jiang Shiwan." The originally puzzled crowd's mouths were wide open. "Where are Zhao Ji and Tang Tang?" Zhou Dong followed the direction of Xiaoqin's finger and looked at Shiwan. "What a beauty. I don't even need to be of any use." "Hello, Teacher Zhou." Shiwan also greeted him. Xiaoqin also laughed. Beauty, you have to make it even better for Teacher Zhou." The two of them chatted happily. Zhou Dong sat on a makeup stool opposite Shiwan and casually tugged at her. "You haven't slept well these past 2 days, right? Look at your dark circles under your eyes. A girl's face is her face. How can you be so careless?" Shiwan. As expected, she started to ridicule him. As time went by, Shiwan in front of the mirror became even more beautiful and moving. "Okay." After Zhou Dong finished the peach blossom makeup for Shiwan, he snapped his fingers. The wardrobe master beside him had already picked up his clothes and was waiting for him to snap his fingers. When Shiwan put on a jade green dress, her waist was high and her chest was tied up. Her clothes were fluttering in the wind, and she wore a silk cloth of the same color. She looked like a fairy from the 9 heavens, riding on clouds and mist. Siwon's breasts were neither big nor small. They were C cups, but most of the Tang Dynasty costumes had the effect of a wearing C, not to mention that they had C's. Therefore, Siwon argued with the costume designer for a long time. She put on the tube top a little, but she could still see the proud upper circumference. In her previous life, she didn't care about these details, but since she was in this body, she was gradually attracted to white, lake blue, and other light colors. Even when she put on the Confucian dress, she didn't admire her graceful figure. Instead, she subconsciously raised her tube top to prevent it from being exposed. Was this the conscious influence of her previous body? The costume designer looked at 11 Wan as if she was a pervert. Tell me, the clothes of a woman from the Tang Dynasty are like those of the Song Dynasty. Also, any woman in the entertainment industry who has a bit of chest, who isn't pulling down their clothes and stealing the headlines moreover. In this movie, it isn't a great opportunity in the future if anyone says that this person is a hype woman. She will throw a hammer at them. F***CK. Hype your sister. Look, there is such a good opportunity in front of me, and yet she is wasting it. Hype my **s. Siwon naturally did not know what the costume designer was thinking. However, after she left the house, everyone's eyes were glued to her body. Siwon calmly walked toward the studio with Xiaoqin. On the other side, the makeup artist started to discuss. Makeup artist, with this face and body, not to mention her acting skills, she will definitely become famous. Makeup artist B. That's right. It has been a long time since such a refreshing beauty appeared in the entertainment industry, especially since this face is still fresh. She will be able to walk for a long time. Makeup artist C. How can her acting skills be bad? Would director Gu, that idiotic Virgo, choose a vase? Makeup artist D. Yes. I heard that it was her audition that day. Director Gu confirmed that it was her on the spot. Our cast and crew has been fighting for so long, and actresses have come in batches after batches. Among them, there are so many A-list celebrities that director Gu didn't even take a fancy to. TSK. If she wasn't popular, I wouldn't be in the makeup industry anymore. Makeup artist. Oh right, this person is from Sky Shadow. If not, which newcomer would the company give them the opportunity to audition for the female lead role in a movie? I think the management company must have been very supportive of her. Furthermore, she has been very good and won the role in one go. Her future is limitless. Siwon followed Xiaoqin to the studio, and coincidentally, the male actor on the set had already finished filming. He Min Yuan was waiting for Siwon to arrive at the studio. Now that he saw Siwon in her costume, he opened his mouth wide and said, "A fairy." The assistants of the other artistes beside her also nodded in agreement. Guyi was obviously very satisfied with Jiang Siwon's appearance. He directed Siwon to go on stage. The cameraman had never seen Jiang Siwon's face before. He asked Guyi beside him, "Are you a newcomer?" Guyi nodded. "We're hiring newcomers this time." The cameraman gave Guyi a thumbs up. "You're good. You're really bold." Although these newcomers seem to have good qualifications, this is a movie that has been shot with a huge investment. You actually dared to hire all of the newcomers. Aren't you afraid of losing money and being hacked to death by the investors? Guyi laughed. Rather than spending all that money on those big names who don't have acting skills to support the scene, it's better to use it for post-production. Besides, this movie is originally a novel adaptation. The IP is very big, and there are fans supporting it. When the time comes, we won't have to worry about the box office if we shoot well. The cameraman nodded. "It seems that you're very confident in yourself." Guyi nodded. "I'm not confident in myself, but I'm confident in these newcomers. You don't know that the acting skills of the male and female leads this time are all surprising existences." The male lead was his B-movie Genius Jr., while the female lead was like the ice in summer, the warmth in winter, the hope of his life. Seeing that the filming time was getting closer and closer, but he still hadn't found a suitable actress, he was so anxious that he couldn't withstand the pressure from the investors. He could just casually find an A-lister, but he was still unwilling. This was his first big movie in his life, so he endured and continued to search. He was really at his wit's end. Just like that, he found the hope of his life. After the audition, he decided that it was her, But the producer, Mr. Shun, did not agree. Mr. Shun said that this person was a newcomer, and the female lead was the soul of the show. It was too risky to use her. He said that he had already used a lot of newcomers, and it would not hurt to add another one. Well, although it was shameless, what finally convinced Mr. Shun was her acting skills. Her acting skills, without exaggeration, were comparable to that of a big-name movie queen. Her entire audition performance was not immature at all. It was fluid, emotional, and immersive. Besides, which Big Shot did not start from a newcomer. He also said, if you want me to make this movie, the female lead must be her. So that night, he decided on her. With that, his movie was half a success. He had a premonition that this movie would definitely become a monument for domestic movies. The cameraman saw Gu Ye's determined face and praised. With your boldness, it seems that there is hope for domestic movies. Shiwan stood on the stage. The cameraman began to teach Shi-won the basic pose for taking photos. He only said a few words, and the cameraman was pleasantly surprised to find that she was able to perfectly display the effect he wanted. That's great. I was born to do this. The camera in the photographer's hand kept clicking, and then he directed Shiwan to change her pose. The first set of clothes for the shoot came to an end, and Shiwan was once again led to the dressing room by Xiaoqin to change her clothes and makeup. The photographer took a fancy to his camera. He mumbled, "Guyi, you really picked up a treasure." She was born to do this. The stage was great, and her pose was so professional. It was perfect. It felt super good. Furthermore, she's so perceptive. I didn't even explain it to her before she knew what I wanted. If you hadn't told me that she was a newcomer, I wouldn't have believed that she had no experience. You really have a discerning eye. Guya's heart was filled with pride. Of course. Shiwan's second makeup was thick geisha makeup. It was also the typical makeup of a woman in the Tang dynasty. She had a white face, black eyebrows, a red cherry mouth, and pink eyeshadow. It made Shiwan's pair of phoenix eyes look extremely charming, like a seductive woman. The dress was a cherry red Confucian skirt. The color was very bright, and it still had a high waist and a tight chest. This time, the costume master refused to let Shiwan lift up her tube top. She kept emphasizing, "This is a geisha. 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 What is a geisha? It's a geisha. How can you walk the pure path? Sister, I know you're conservative, but this role is not allowed." Shiwan. So when Shiwan showed up in her full costume again, the people in front of her were all stunned. This fox-like beauty, is she really Jiang Shiwan, who was just so beautiful? How malleable. This face is comparable to Jiang Shiwan's. Isn't she Jiang Shiwan? No, I mean the deceased movie queen. No, I think she's even stronger than that movie queen. That movie queen can't pretend to be a fairy who doesn't exist in the mortal world, but she can pretend to be a fox spirit with a demonic aura. All right, their names sound the same, but if you don't mention it, I won't confuse the two of them at all. They're too different. The day's makeup photo shoot was finally finished. Guyi said that he would treat everyone to a meal tonight so that they could get familiar with each other before the filming started. Shiwan didn't want to go initially, but since the director had already said so, it wasn't appropriate to make it special, so she brought him in along. Guyi booked the third floor of a nearby hotel. The director, assistant director, producer, makeup artist, costume artist, cameraman, and a few main actors all made a grand scene. Shiwan was arranged to sit at a table with director Gu and the other main characters of the crew, so Min naturally parted ways with her. On her left was a shy-looking girl, and on her right was a handsome young man. Opposite him was director Gu. The people at the table were all quite young. They looked energetic and energetic. This must be the benefit of a young director. However, when she came over just now, Heeman also told her with a heavy expression that the actors selected by director Gu were all new actors, so this movie was all on her. Shiwan only smiled. As the top movie queen in the entertainment industry, such a role was not difficult for her. The dishes were ordered by her assistant Xiaoqin. They were red, yellow, and bright in color, which made people want to eat them. Director Gu, there's so many fresh faces. Why don't you introduce them to everyone? I can't just call them brothers and miss. A Manchurian Mandarin sounded in everyone's ears. Guyi smiled, then stood up and began to introduce them one by one. From then on, Shiwon also knew the main identities and names of the crew members. The shy girl sitting next to her was the second female lead of the crew. Her name was Chun Jiabao. She graduated from B-Film and was in the same batch as Gu Yi. She could be considered an alumnus. At the same time, she was also a newly signed female artiste. The boy next to her was called Xiao Tsong. The male lead of the movie, he was the same as Shiwon. He had not graduated from university yet, but he was a senior in B-Film. The assistant director was the one who had just asked Gu Yi to introduce him. He was Gu Yi's classmate and good friend. He was a man from the Northeast, and his name was Zhao Zhuang. His parents' surnames added together made him look quite honest and honest. As they were all young people, after a few glasses of wine and some banter, everyone was as close as old friends. They did not have to be so reserved and uncomfortable just now. They chatted all over the place. "You are Jiang Shiwan. I know you. I didn't expect you to look so much better in person than in the photos on Weibo." Shiwan was eating when the shy girl next to her spoke up. Shiwan smiled. "You're very pretty too." Chun Jiabao was not the popular face of the day. Big eyes, high nose, cherry lips, and a pointy chin. Her eyes were neither big nor small. They looked round, and the bridge of her nose was neither high nor low. However, her nose was perfectly closed, making her look very delicate. Her mouth was thin and moderate, and the corners of her mouth were slightly upturned. Even if she didn't smile, she looked very gentle. Her chin was also round and very fleshy. Shiwan looked around and found that most of the actresses, except for her, were plump and fleshy. The director might look young, but he was good at picking people. It was no wonder that he was able to get the best foreign language short film at Cannes at such a young age. "Thank you." Chun Jiabao took out his phone. "Can I take a photo with you?" Shiwan nodded. Chun Jiabao took a few pictures of them in different poses. Chun Jiabao took out his phone. "Can we follow each other on Weibo?" Shiwan nodded. Shiwan opened Weibo and found Chun Jiabao. They had followed each other. When she refreshed the homepage, she saw that Chun Jiabao had posted a photo of them on Weibo and even tagged her. "I'm having dinner with Shiwan, Jiang Shiwan, 06. She's too beautiful in person, and I'm under a lot of pressure. Shiwan." Repost. Chun Jiabao's Weibo was filled with news that she was hinting that she was going to be the second female lead in Tang Dynasty. If she reposted it, with her current netizens' IQ and ability to post, there was no guarantee that she would find out that they were going to be in Tang Dynasty geisha record. Even if she didn't repost it, Chun Jiabao was still trying to be nice to her. She wasn't the same person as before, and she could ignore any female star. She hadn't even entered the group yet, and it wasn't a good thing for the first and second female lead to have conflicts. After thinking for a while, Shiwan commented, "Smile." Some of the men who had noticed Shiwan and Chun Jiabao's movements said, Come, everyone, let's fan each other." "Oh yeah, we can fan each other with Jiang Shiwan." Thus, after a round, Shiwan's following list and fan list had another string of Vs. Some of them only had a few hundred fans, and they were also porn Vs. Their identification information was very high-end, and Shiwan felt embarrassed. "Shiwan, you haven't been verified yet?" "Ah, I forgot," Sister Lisa said, but her head was a little dizzy, so she forgot about this. "Go back and apply." "Shiwan." Chun Jiabao's voice rang in her ear again. "Huh?" Shiwan looked up again, her eyes clear, as if she really didn't understand the anticipation in Chun Jiabao's eyes. "It's okay." Chun Jiabao smiled awkwardly, then lowered his head. Shiwan said, "Oh." She knew in her heart that Chun Jiabao wanted to make use of her current popularity to make a name for himself. However, she was still in the limelight, so it was better for her to remain cold and hot. Otherwise, she would be trending every few days, and without her work, she would be blacklisted by some passerby netizens. That would not make up for the loss. Everyone enjoyed the meal. The producer waved his hand and said, "Since the director is treating, he will treat everyone to karaoke." Some of the older actors waved their hands and said, "My body isn't strong enough to stay up all night, so I won't go out to play with them." Shiwan originally said that she couldn't go because she had something to do, but the producer looked upset and asked, "Are you not going to give him face?" With that said, how could she, a small artiste with no background, not go. The KTV was near the hotel, and it was only a 10-minute walk. Fortunately, everyone had not debuted yet, so they were not very popular. Otherwise, with this situation, they would definitely attract a group of fans, and they would not be able to recognize the direction of the crowd. When they arrived at the KTV, everyone was high. Perhaps their jobs were related to the entertainment industry, and they were all good talkers with high EQ. After a meal, they were much more familiar with each other, and they were young and easy to get along with, so the moment they arrived, it was very lively. Many of the people who came were mic barons, the people who ordered songs and sang karaoke. However, the people on the mic were mainly the core members of the production team, such as the director, producers, actors, and so on. As for the little assistants, the small production staff, and so on, they all went to play cards and eat. Everyone sang songs one after another. The rest of the people listened to the songs, chatted, ate, played dice, played poker, and piled up the Great Wall of China. Looking around, they saw a huge luxury box. It was actually quite interesting. Heemin was sitting next to Shiwan. Perhaps it was because Tian-Ing had trained assistants like them before. When an artiste had to go to a drinking party or sing karaoke, what was an assistant to do? Heemin was close to Shiwan, protecting Shiwan like she was protecting her eyeballs. Many people came to persuade Shiwan to drink, but Heemin used a comfortable method that did not offend people to block them. On the other side, the producer finished singing. Wen Tian will borrow another 500 years and took the microphone. Come, come, come. Our female lead, don't just sit there. Come and sing for everyone. You haven't sung before. Yes, yes, yes. Our female lead, come, sing a song. The moment the producer suggested it, the others also started to jeer. Although Shiwan was an actress, her singing skills were not bad. Hence, she had been dragged by a few directors to sing the theme song of a few movies. Hence, she stood up generously and chose a song that she and Xiao Yinzheng had sung together, How Deep Is Your Love? When this song was sung, when the crowd saw that it was a choral song and that it was a more difficult song, many people gave up on the male part and asked, who will sing Xiao Yinzheng's part? Xiao Tsong raised his hand. I'll sing it. I know this song. Wow, this is great. The female lead and the male lead will sing together. The room fell silent. The quiet music rang in everyone's ears. Male, when my heart hurts, I always remember the moment we met. It's like the sound of flowers blooming. Female, while I'm in pain, I always remember the tiger teeth at the corner of your mouth. A faint milky white, the smell of cotton candy. Male, your tears, a faint bitterness, the tip of your tongue spreading, tearing my heart apart. Woman, your smile, the fragrance of gardenia, refreshing, healing the heart. Together, we have walked, passed by the scenery. We have laughed, cried life. Just like that, without any warning. You suddenly imprinted on my heart. When did I fall in love with you? How deep was my love? The song ended. The lingering sound lingered, circling the beam for 3 days. The quiet box for a long time. Clap, clap, clap. Good. You sang so well. Recorded. Ah, it's so good. It's comparable to the movie Queen Jiang Shuan and Xiao Yinzheng. Director, when are we going to release the makeup photos? I can't wait to post this video online. I'm so weak that I'm saying that I've already posted a photo online. In an instant, there was a commotion once again. You too, it's great. Gui gave a rare thumbs up. I can teach you the theme song this time. When he was really sleepy, someone immediately handed him a pillow before he could start looking for someone to sing the theme song for this movie. The male and female leads gave him another big surprise. Gui said, this KTV is so worth it. Xiao Tsung winked at Shiwan. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it too. Shiwan did not reject him. She was still a newcomer, and she would not reject a job that was valuable. Heemin, who was beside him, was so excited that her face was red. Shiwan, I really didn't expect you to be so great. If you tell the company that you're going to release a record, the company will definitely support you. Then, Xiao Tsung sat next to Shiwan. Seeing that you sang the part of my goddess so well, I think you must like her very much. Shiwan looked at Xiao Tsung in surprise. Your goddess? Xiao Tsung raised his chin and nodded. Of course, my only goddess. Then, his eyes were full of sadness. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to see her. Shiwon was slightly touched. Even after that incident, do you still like her? Of course. Xiao Song didn't hesitate. Besides, it's not her fault. She's also a victim. This thing is obviously taken secretly. Maybe it's that jerk. I just didn't expect her to leave just like that. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have cared if my acting was good or bad. I would have debuted earlier and met her. Speaking of Jiang Shiwan, Xiao Tsong actually said a lot. Then, when he saw Shiwan looking at him in shock, he smiled. I'm sorry, I've said too much, but you sang very well just now. I thought it was my goddess singing. But you guys are so faded, your names sound the same. When I first heard senior brother Gu mention Jiang Shiwan as the female lead, I thought I was dreaming that my goddess was back. Later, I realized that this Shiwan is not Shiwan. Shiwan smiled at him. She did not expect that the male lead who was going to play the opposite role was her die-hard fan. At this moment, Heemin said to Shiwan with an ugly expression, Shiwan, you're on the hot search again. You've been hacked. Shiwan. Xiao Tsong asked, what's going on? Heemin passed her cell phone. I don't know, which be *TCH is all the counts sent, Shiwan's picture of the party and the KTV picture, but the light in the picture is dim. It looks like something. Heemin was so angry that she gritted her teeth. This person is in our private room. I want to find him and beat him up. Shiwan took a look and knew who the person behind this account was. After all, there were 40 to 50 people here, and everyone was smiling at you. Who would you suspect besides? There were only 2 pictures. If you really went to the trouble of asking everyone who sent them, it would probably cause a lot of backlash, and it would be difficult to stay calm during filming. However, seeing Heemin's angry look, Shiwan had no choice but to comfort her. It's normal, don't be angry. Besides, this person only sent these 2 pictures and didn't say anything, so why are we taking it personally? Besides, haven't I had enough black water these past 2 days? They did think highly of me. They wanted to help me become a trending topic and increase my fan base. You should be grateful. She spread her hands. In the past 2 days, her Weibo fan base had increased at a very fast rate. Even if she had gained a lot of black fans, she had also gained a lot of true love fans. Heemin was amused. Xiao Tsong also said, you're quite open-minded, but from the angle of this photo, it's probably from the little assistance table. The angle of this photo is in that direction, but everyone is walking around and playing nonstop. I really don't know who's there. However, this newly registered account can instantly send you to the hot searches. There must be high-level internet trolls constantly paying attention to your news. Then, when there's new dirt, they'll smear you to death. Those who have this kind of ability are mostly management companies. I guess those people must think that your debut will hinder their own artist development. I didn't expect you to still be a Sherlock Holmes. No. If I were Sherlock Holmes, I would have already helped you find the criminal. All good things must come to an end. After the excitement, everyone waved goodbye. Before leaving, Guyi said to everyone, official V number 15 has announced the final makeup photo. Remember to forward it to everyone on Weibo that day. On the 18th, we will go to the H Store's film and television base to start filming. So on the 17th, everyone must arrive at the H Store's film and television base. Your accommodation and air tickets will be reimbursed, so don't forget to get your vouchers. Remember to remember them all. The next day, Lisa called. You've really been trending every day for the past few days. The comments below are getting worse and worse. How is it? Can you still bear it? I can. She had never paid any attention to the comments of the black netizens. Yeah, if you want to be an artist, you must have a good attitude. You're not R&B, so it's impossible for everyone to like you. If you want to wear a crown, you must bear a heavy burden. Remember this principle at all times. Artists must never be glass-hearted. If they see comments that they can't take, they will hang them out and scold them. After all, you're public figures, and you're supposed to be under the supervision of public opinion. Since you're earning tens, hundreds, or even thousands of times more than an ordinary person, don't mention to them that you're also an ordinary person because you're not ordinary. You're a star. Lisa was so afraid of the glass-hard artiste that this group of people could not control their own words. They fought with the netizens and scolded them. Not only did their image fall, but they were also labeled as having low EQ and bad character by the netizens. This caused the public relations team to work so hard, but they still could not clear their name. It was simply too bad. Many artistes were ruined by their own quick tongue. In the future, when they posted a Weibo post, they would be ridiculed by the majority of the netizens, and their popularity would also drop drastically. Lisa did not want Shiwan to take this path, so she took precautions beforehand. Shiwan obviously understood Lisa's intentions. I know, Sister Lisa. Yeah, we'll begin Z Province in 2 days. The airline company has already arranged the flight tickets. The hotel is provided by your crew. The address has been sent to Heemin. Heemin will come to pick you up. Then, your manager has also been confirmed. It's the new company's Zheng Nuo. I remember that he seems to be the boss's cousin. He must have a lot of connections. Shiwan, it's really him. That was true. Before Jiang Shiwan had even debuted, other companies were already scheming to harm Jiang Shiwan. Clearly, this Jiang Shiwan was amazing F***CK. Why didn't he think of this at that time? No wonder only the two of them dared to harm Jiang Shiwan this time. Moreover, some friends even said that they were stupid and dared to take the money. That's right, with that appearance, she was the female lead of Tang Dynasty the moment she debuted. Just thinking about it, Tianing must have dug up a great treasure this time. How could you hack it just because you can? You're so stupid, woo-woo-woo. We can spit out the money and put in a good word for Jiang Shiwan. Tianing Jun, let's talk this out nicely. Don't lawyer up. On the morning of the 17th, Shiwan's plane arrived at Shishan Airport in Hangzhou, Z Province. Then, she took the bus from H Store to H Store's film and television base. In the past 2 years, she had spent most of her time overseas filming. Even the most recent movie, S-War, was also completed in B-City. It had been 2 years since she last came here. Looking at the familiar scenes around her, Shiwan actually felt like she was in a dream. It was the first time that Heemin, who was traveling with him, came to this country's largest film and television base's filming location. She found everything new and interesting. The two of them checked into the film crew's hotel. At the entrance, they bumped into Chun Jiabao, who was walking out with his 2 assistants. Chun Jiabao waved at Shiwan. You're here, Shiwan. Shiwan nodded. Chun Jiabao said, I came yesterday. I've already visited some palaces. Do you want to go with me? Shiwan shook her head. I just got off the plane. I'm a little tired. I want to go back and sleep. Chun Jiabao nodded. Then we'll go out. Heemin looked at Chun Jiabao's back as he left. She seems to be quite friendly. She should be easy to get along with. Shiwan replied, she should be. In fact, it was hard to get along with someone. It was all a matter of time. In the entertainment industry, it was best not to make assumptions first. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know how you died. After all, there were a lot of smiling tigers in this industry. In short, one must not have the intention to harm others. One must be wary of others. Heemin carried her bag and dragged her luggage as she followed Shiwan. Actually, Shiwan had stayed in this hotel a few times, so she was very familiar with the layout and check-in procedures. Soon, the two of them got their own key card. It was a double room on the 6th floor, facing the south with sunlight. Shiwan was very satisfied. After all, it was close to winter, so it was better to stay in a room facing the sun than facing the north. Heemin tidied up the things and asked Shiwan what she wanted to eat. Shiwan was still a little dizzy, so she shook her head and said to rest well. Heemin left alone. When Shiwan woke up, Heemin had already come back and was bending over to pack her things. She had gone to the supermarket and bought a lot of food and daily necessities. Shiwan, the fruit is in the fridge. As it was a room temporarily rented by the production team, the house was fully equipped with a washing machine, refrigerator, and water dispenser. Okay. Shiwan took some raisins, sat on the bed, took the script, and began to memorize the lines that were about to start filming. Heemin saw that Shiwan was working hard, so she worked even more quietly. Before long, Heemin could only sit back on her bed and scroll through Weibo. She turned her head to look at her artiste's beautiful side profile. She could not help but feel that she was very beautiful, and she thought about how lucky she was. She was an assistant to an artiste with a bright future, a good temper, and few things to do. She felt much better than her colleagues who were applying for the same job. However, because she had too much free time, she felt a little guilty about taking such a high salary. Ever since the company released the announcement on the 15th, Shiwan's evil tendencies had been restrained. But there are still a lot of people from time to time run to Shiwan's Weibo, scold too. Some people are very excessive. Even university also scolded on, angry Shiwan university students, directly through a Jiang Shiwan's resume on Weibo. Oh my god, that resume, it's freaking the babies out. National first-class scholarship winner for 3 years in a row. National Top 10 Youth winner, Triple X host show first place. XX Cup host champion. GPA is 4. Damn, so good-looking. It is also a golden flash of the university. This world is so magical. Those who defamed her for being a slut instantly shut their mouths, and their faces were filled with embarrassment. Would you believe that such a genius with excellent moral character would be a slut? No. From the bottom of their hearts, the Chinese people worship geniuses with high IQ. In their subconscious, the synonyms of genius were positive, optimistic, and positive. This was because although the geniuses around them weren't as exaggerated as the ones in the books that said, 2 ears don't pay attention to the outside world and only read sage books, they were close. Moreover, not only was Jiang Shiwan a top student, but she was also a person with excellent moral character. Otherwise, how could she have won the national scholarship and become one of the top 10 youths in the country? At first, Shiwan's fans were chased and scolded until they could only stomp their feet. Now that they saw their goddess and such a shiny resume, they all raised their heads and puffed out their chests, feeling honored. TSK, TSK. If you have the ability, make your master a top student with excellent moral character and high IQ. As expected, I love Shiwan's positive energy. Then there were Shiwan's fans who automatically posted the IDs of those who jumped up and down the most. TSK, TSK. See, this group of fabricated rumors. Shiwan is happy, and the ones who jump up and down the most are all internet trolls. Internet trolls. Which company is so crazy that they defamed my goddess? There were also fans who enthusiastically moved it to the Tianyao forum, naming it the Weibo sensational incident of He Jiangshuan. It was a rival company that bought internet trolls to deliberately defame her. There were pictures and the truth. The replies below were also string by string. Although there were both anti-fans and fans, the overall number of fans was large. Poster. It's our Shiwan's fault for being too good-looking and too outstanding. I guess these companies are jealous. The previous poster is correct. I have a relative who works in Tianying. She told me that a rival company bought internet trolls to deliberately defame Shiwan because they were jealous that Tianying had 2 super good seedlings in one go. Yes, the other is Lian. Her background is very impressive. She is truly fair, rich, and beautiful. So the rival company didn't dare to defame Lian, so they made an example out of Shiwan. I'm sure they didn't expect that our Shiwan would be a top student since she was young. She didn't have any dark spots throughout the whole process, so they just made all kinds of groundless accusations. I'm an artist's assistant. During the Tang Dynasty audition, I accompanied my artist to watch it. The whole process was fair. I don't know why those who said there were hidden rules and dirty tricks were so open-minded. Also, Jiang Shiwan is really beautiful in person. I remember that Jiang Shiwan seems to be a key target for Heaven's Shadow. Heaven's Shadow's key target is equivalent to the existence of Cheng Chong, Fu Zi, Su Chao, Zhong Qili, Lu Yin, and Yin Shuang. All of them are very capable. Moreover, Heaven's Shadow has very strict rules. They don't allow artists to make secret deals, or else they'll terminate the contract. No wonder. I see. As more and more people exposed the truth, more and more people were convinced. Of course, there were also some who were doubtful. The person said, "Show me some concrete evidence." Only then did they realize that the evidence that they had previously believed in were all destroyed. Yes, in those 2 photos. Silly, the cast and crew of Tang Dynasty have clarified that it was everyone who went to a restaurant to eat after taking their makeup photos. They sang at a KTV to celebrate. They were taken by some evil people and uploaded onto the internet. The cast and crew of Tang Dynasty even said that they would investigate it thoroughly. Moreover, They even released How Deep Is Love, which Jiang Shuan and Xiao Tsung sang together. Damn, it's too good. Many insiders were, of course, the internet trolls under Lisa's banner. Most of their comments were true, but they were also well-founded. In addition, the rational netizens were stripping away the silk threads and exposing the fake lies one by one. The situation where one side was slandered was finally brought back. They also created a situation where Jiang Shuan is very powerful because she is good-looking, has strong abilities, and is envied by her opponents, even though this was also the truth. Many people who had turned black were slapped in the face, and their faces were swollen. As a result, they felt all kinds of displeasure in their hearts, and they disliked Jiang Shuan even more. This kind of person was like, I don't care how reasonable you are. If I don't listen, I won't listen. If I hate you, I hate you. This kind of person existed in every artiste. Lisa expressed that it didn't matter. As long as the overall situation was within her control, it was fine. As for the few numbers that had been picked out by the company previously, the lawyer's letter had not been sent out, but their apologies were inevitable. Shuan had not looked at Weibo for the past 2 days. When she went down for dinner that night, Hemin happily told her, "Justice is late, but it's still here." Then, Hemin turned on her little fan mode. "Shuan, why are you so amazing? How did you grow a brain? Your GPA is actually 4. F asterisk CK. I'm only 2.7. You're too awesome." Shuan. Oh, she was not the one who took the test. After eating, she felt a little bloated and decided to take a walk around as a way to digest her food. Although it was much warmer in Jiangnan on November nights than in B City, it was still cold and windy. Therefore, on the way, he ran into a few artists who wore sunglasses and hurried past. Taking a walk. At the corner, Xiao Tsung, wearing casual clothes, jogged over. "When did you get here?" "In the afternoon. I should be one flight later than you," Xiao Tsung replied. "By the way, do you want to go out and play? I heard that the night view of H shop is very good." Shuan shook her head. "No, I haven't rested well these 2 days. I need to go back and have a good sleep. In this kind of weather, I should lie back in bed to be comfortable." "Hemin, are you the god of sleep? I just slept for the whole morning." Xiao Tsung could only shrug his shoulders. What/a/pity. After returning to her room, Shuan washed up and received a call from Lian. "You're also at the H shop?" "Yes." "Which hotel?" "The Crescent Moon." "I've never heard of it." Shuan. "Oh, right. When I went on Weibo today, I realized that your fake account had 1 million more fans than mine." Lian was very angry. "Weren't you slandered by others? Why did you gain so many fans?" Slandering is also a form of attention. Being slandered is true love, just like you. Bah, WHO's your true love. Lian was angry. Then, she felt like something was wrong. F asterisk CK. You still say that you're not a lily. You. Shuan. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, when she was unhappy, she teased Li Yin and watched her get angry and jump around. It was the most comfortable. The next day, Shuan was woken up by Hemin early in the morning. When Shuan was still sleepy, Hemin took out her phone and read the memo on it. "We have to go to the production crew's dressing room at 7 a.m. to do our styling and then attend the Tang Dynasty production crew's press conference and opening ceremony." Shuan nodded and climbed up with great difficulty. After washing up, Hemin brought breakfast in. "Breakfast, come and eat quickly." When she left, it was already 6:50 p.m. When Shuan rushed to the dressing room, Xiao Tsung, Chen Jiabao, and the second male lead, Dong Su, were already sitting in their seats and putting on makeup. "Good morning, Shuan." "Good morning, everyone." Shuan's makeup teacher was still Zhou Dong. Like Shuan, he came late. Probably not having enough sleep, he yawned. "Sai, I'm getting old. Waking up early really kills me." Then, seeing that Shuan was already sitting on the chair, he put the makeup bag in his hand aside. "You look good recently. Teacher is also very good. Well, you have to make sure that you sleep well. Otherwise, your skin will be full of potholes. No matter how good the foundation I give you, it won't be able to cover it up." Xiao Tsung, who was at the side, laughed and said, just apply 2 more layers and turn it into a wall. Anyway, when the lights are on, the effect will be enhanced later." Duong will still be a great beauty. Aren't you afraid of eating a mouthful of powder? Zhou Dong teased. Xiao Song, Chun Jiaobao said, Haha, Xiao Song, don't worry about that look on your face. Xuan doesn't know how to apply hundreds of layers of powder on anyone's face. She has the best skin I've seen so far. She's tender and fair and can be broken with a puff of wind. It's good to be young. No matter how young you are, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll turn into trash. Especially those in the entertainment industry who deal with cosmetics every day. You must remember to take care of yourself when it comes to taking care of yourself. You must remember to buy and use it well. Your face is your capital. If your skin isn't good, no matter how exquisite your facial features are, you'll still be ugly. Since you're ugly, don't enter the entertainment industry. Don't think that just by posting a few photos taken with a beauty camera on Weibo, you can change the fact that you're not ugly. Zhou Dong said with a rather vicious tone. Everyone. Thus, under Zhou Dong's instruction, the makeup was done very quickly. The costume designer took the clothes and handed them to the main actors. The director's assistant, Xiao Qin, came to the door again. Is everything ready? The car is waiting outside. The press conference is about to start. At 9 in the morning, the press conference was held on time. The director, Gu Yi, and a group of people came to the stage in the first-floor lobby of Caesar Hotel. A group of photographers and reporters with long guns and short guns were already in their positions. Xiwan was the female lead, and her seat was in the middle. On her left was the director, and on her right was Xiao Kong. Although she was wearing thick makeup as a geisha, her expression was calm, her gaze firm, and her figure tall and straight. She was neither servile nor overbearing, and she looked just like Wu Zetian. On top of that, there were two good-looking men. Some of the media friends below teased her. Is this a martial emperor's embrace? The main creative team sat down on the stage, and the host appeared. He held a microphone and said loudly, Welcome, media friends, to the press conference for the opening of records of the Tang Dynasty's geisha. Let me introduce the main characters of our team. The host introduced from left to right. After introducing one, he didn't forget to tell everyone about his main achievements. Only then did Xiwan know that although the crew she was working for was very young, most of them were new talents in their respective circles. These people would always say, Thank you, director. Obviously, these people were already part of Guye's crew. Xiwan looked at the director with a faint smile on his face. He was young, but he was magnanimous and steady. No wonder the investors were willing to use the director's request as their first reference. There were so many people just now. Thank you, director. Thank you, director. Now, let's introduce the director of the production crew of the records of the geisha of the Tang Dynasty, Mr. Gu Yi. Hello, everyone. I'm the director of the records of the geisha of the Tang Dynasty, Gu Yi. Don't look at our director. He's not old, but I believe that everyone has heard of many of the award-winning representative works. For example, ABC's Theory of Evolution, Missing You, and other music videos that everyone is familiar with, as well as the short film that touched both China and foreign countries. Where is it? The host praised loudly. The atmosphere of the venue was very high. Now, let me introduce the female lead, Jiang Xiwan. Clap, clap, clap. The applause was thunderous. Hello, everyone. I'm Jiang Xiwan. Because Xiwan did not have any works, no matter how good the host was at talking, he could not praise a single flower. He only praised Xiwan's good looks and said that he was looking forward to her debut film. Perhaps it was because she was a newcomer, but this circle of artistes had not been introduced as long as he had introduced the director. After that was the free question segment. Fortunately, the media here had been arranged by the production team. The questions they asked were mostly related to the production team. However, as entertainment media, they would definitely ask other questions besides these irrelevant official questions. After all, they wanted their own magazine to sell well. The content was gossip that the public was interested in. As long as it was within the bottom line of the Tang Dynasty production team, the more attractive the gimmick, the better. Based on the current 2 days, any news with the words Jiang Xiwan had an extremely high click rate and readership. Therefore, other than the members of the main creative team, Shiwan had become the most frequently asked questions by media friends. The content was nothing more than, why did you enter Sky Shadow? Why did you choose this script? Do you think you can play this role well? Do you think you have any advantage over Zhao, Ji, and Tang Tang? When Min heard these tricky questions, she really broke out in cold sweat for Shiwan. She secretly cursed this group of media who were not afraid of making a scene. However, Shiwan was not afraid of these questions at all. After all, she had been immersed in the entertainment industry for many years. Therefore, she answered every question very intelligently. For example, a reporter asked her, "Were those photos of you before you entered the entertainment industry a publicity stunt?" Shiwan replied, "I didn't enter the company, nor was it a publicity stunt." For example, why did the director not choose Tang Tang and Zhao Ji, but chose you? Shiwan said, "The director is beside me. You're asking the wrong person. Do you think that you're qualified to play the role of Bai Shuang?" Yes. After a press conference, it was like a tough battle. Even though the weather was cool, everyone was sweating profusely. Heemin draped her coat over Shiwan. "You just happened to be calm. I really broke out in cold sweat for you below the stage. This group of people really only cared about asking you questions. It proves that I have the potential to become famous. Besides, there are only a few questions. They couldn't cause any big waves. Anyway, they had given the truth. It was up to them whether they believed it or not." In the afternoon, they went to the rented venue and held the opening ceremony. All they had to do was burn incense and pray for the crew to finish filming safely. This was something that almost every crew would do. Although some people did as they were told, they still cursed in their hearts, superstition. In the past, Shiwan did not believe in gods and ghosts, so when she burned incense and prayed to the gods, her heart was not very sincere. However, from her resurrection to someone else's body, she was no longer as casual as before. Therefore, the current her was best to treat gods and ghosts in the words of Confucius, to respect the gods and stay away from them. After the opening ceremony, everyone's faces were full of joy. Next was the start of the script. Tang Dynasty film crew had 4 directors, 1 director, and 3 assistant directors. Thus, they were divided into 3 shooting groups to shoot in different scenes to increase efficiency. Shiwan's scene today was in Group A, Guye's film crew, so the staff were especially serious. Today's scene was Shiwan's by Shuang. She followed the class leader of the geisha team to the palace to celebrate the Empress Dowager's birthday. There were not many lines, but most of them were dances. During the process of receiving the reward, she met the male lead in the Empress Dowager's palace, King Chung Li. The production team had a special dance teacher who taught them dance moves. It was only a few moves, and the long and short scenes could be switched to complete a scene. Shiwan had made a name for herself in her previous life as a starfighter, so the simple dance moves were naturally not a problem. The dance teacher demonstrated a few moves, and Shiwan learned them 3 times before memorizing them. Then the shoot began. The curtain of the big red stage was pulled open, and a geisha wearing a red traditional Chinese dress walked out in small steps. She was singing a birthday toast, and then 1 move, 2 moves. Her movements were poetic and picturesque, and the long silk drapes were like a ribbon under the effect of a blower, floating in the air in front of the camera. From Guye's monitor, it was simply beautiful and romantic. Cut. Guye had originally planned to spend an hour to shoot this scene, but he did not expect that the female lead would only spend 20 minutes to finish the scene. Moreover, it had greatly exceeded his expectations. Xiao Qin, who was at the side, was speechless. He said in disbelief, "The rookies nowadays are too fierce." Guye's usually calm face had a rare smile on it. Very good. This was because the directing team was also rookies. It was their first time shooting a big movie, so they did not know how amazing their acting skills were in the first scene. If it was a veteran director present, he probably would not even need to close his mouth. One had to know that the beginning was always the hardest. This was the first scene, and the feeling had yet to come. She could do it all in one go, and the acting effects were very shocking. How many people in the entire entertainment industry had this ability, and she was a rookie who had just debuted? Heemin walked to Shiwan's side in small steps and handed her warm water. "Shiwan, Are you really not in the acting department? Yes. She only had more than 10 years of acting experience. That's awesome. Although I've never seen any other big names perform, you're really awesome. I was watching from below the stage just now. At that moment, I really thought you were Bai Shuang. Xuan smiled. As someone who had been acting for more than 10 years and had almost broken the Grand Slam's Best Actress record, if she couldn't even take on a role like Bai Shuang, then she might as well get out of the entertainment industry as soon as possible. Xuan had already changed into light peach blossom makeup. This time, Zhou Don's hand speed was very fast. The scene manager was already holding a loudspeaker and urging, Scene 02, get ready. This scene was Xuan and Xiao Tsung's match. Yumin clenched her fist and said, go for it. The set designer had already set up the scene. The scene manager said to the director, okay. Gui held a small loudspeaker and said, everyone in position, 3, 2, 1, action. Bai Shuang and the class leader were led to the Empress Dowager's residence, Chang'an Hall. Along the way, Bai Shuang lowered her head and looked a little nervous. The class leader beside her was not much better than Bai Shuang, but he still pretended to be calm and held her hand. Reporting to the Empress Dowager, the class mistress of Chun-He class and the player just now have been brought over. The little palace maid reported crisply. Good. Let them come over. Let me see what kind of young lady can act Shui Xiang so well. Grandmother, just bestow it on them. Why do you need to personally summon these lowly people? Li Yi, who was sitting at the side, dressed in yellow and white brocade clothes, drank the tea that the little eunuch handed over and said nonchalantly. The Empress Dowager glanced at her favorite grandson, Boy. Greetings, Empress Dowager. Your Majesty is blessed with good health. Bai Shuang and her class leader, Su Yi, kowtowed in unison. Raise your head and let me see. The two of them raised their heads in unison. Bai Shuang's clear eyes glistened with sparkling water. What a spiritual child. Give it to her. Thank you, Empress Dowager. Li had originally lowered his head to taste the tea. When he saw how happy she sounded, he also raised his head to glance at her. Suddenly, that pair of lively eyes bumped into his heart. Then, like a frightened deer, he lowered his head again. He only clenched his sleeves tightly with his hands, betraying her. Li curled the corners of his lips. What a delicate flower that makes people pity it. Grandmother has good taste after all. As he said that, he looked at the deer from the corner of his eyes. When the Empress Dowager heard Li Ye's words, she laughed even more heartily. Ka! Xiao Qin, who was standing at the side, blinked. It's over. Gui nodded. It's over. Another one pass? Another one pass. It was as if a cold wind was blowing past his eyes with two broken leaves. Xiao Qin, who was slow to realize, then, you can leave early. Today, Tima had only arranged 2 scenes. They had planned to shoot for half a day, but unexpectedly, it was done in half a day. Such efficiency. Gui felt that he had really found a treasure. Jiang Shuan and his genius junior brother were born with this job according to today's progress. It was more than enough to finish shooting ahead of time. His eyes lit up when he thought of how he could save a lot of money for the later stages. Those who have no scenes today can call it a day. Gui stood up. I'll go to Team C to take a look. Zhao Zhuang was in charge of Team B, so he was not afraid. Although the 2 assistant directors in Team C had work experience, he still had to go and take a look. Xuan went out to remove her makeup and saw Xiao Tsung drinking water. Are you done with your scenes today? Yes, what about you? I have to rush to Group B to shoot a scene. Xiao Tsung looked at his phone. There are still 2 hours left. You acted really well just now. Initially, he was a little nervous. After all, this was the first time he was performing an important role under so many machines. When the light hit his face, his mind went blank for a moment. However, the moment he looked into her eyes, he continued acting. The entire performance after that was smooth and natural. Thinking back, he had clearly entered the aura that she had created. This was a completely different feeling from acting with the girls in the class. Even though the girls in the class had already debuted, and some of them were already popular starlets in the entertainment industry, their performances were still under his control. However, it was the exact opposite of what had happened just now. He still remembered the shyness and nervousness in her eyes when he looked into her eyes. There was also a hint of reverence in her eyes. It was the natural respect that lower-class people had for upper-class people. It made him remember that he was Li Yi, a natural prince, a high and mighty prince. At this moment, he was interested in this low-status actor who was like a deer out of the jungle. In B-movie, the teacher had said that with his talent in acting, it would be difficult to find someone who could match him in the new generation of artists in the entertainment industry. B-movie had a wide network and was famous, so directors often came here to look for good seedlings to film. As a genius student of the entire age, he was naturally constantly invited. However, he refused all of them. A large part of the reason was that he wanted to work with Jiang Xuan in his first movie, but he was worried that his acting skills were too poor and would drag down Jiang Xuan's standards. After all, Jiang Xuan's acting skills were recognized as the best in the entire entertainment industry. Even the teachers used her acting as an example in class. After a while, he never had the chance to perform with her again. Perhaps this was the biggest regret of his life. But now, when he looked at this girl who was the same age as him, her acting skills were definitely above his. Moreover, her acting style always gave him a sense of familiarity. "You're also very good." Xiwan rarely praised people, but Xiao Tsong was really good. She was called a genius newcomer, but after all, she was not. She was a Golden Globe Award-winning actress with more than 10 years of experience. If not for Sun Wanyu's Final Mischief, she would have been the youngest Grand Slam Award winner in the Chinese film industry, but Xiao Tsong was a real newcomer. Although she had restrained her aura in the previous scene, he was still able to keep up and perform admirably. It was really rare. Xiao Tsong smiled. "I still have to learn from you." Xiwan smiled, took off her makeup, and changed her clothes. "I'm leaving first." On the way, He-min held her phone and said, as if she was presenting a treasure, "I took a lot of photos just now. Every one of them looks like an ink painting. You can't post them on the internet." He-min had just become Xiwan's assistant, so Xiwan would still remind her of some points. "I know. It's a confidentiality clause. Don't worry, I'll enjoy it myself." He-min smiled and nodded. "Xiwan, your performance was really great. I saw the director's assistant just now, and he was full of praise for you guys." "Okay, where are we going to play next?" "You go. I'm going to sleep." "He-min, I woke up too early these 2 days. I'm so sleepy." "He-min, goddess, are you the goddess sleep?" Xiwan was woken up by the vibration of her phone. She was in a daze. She took the phone from the bedside and looked at it. It was 8:30 p.m. She could not help but mutter, "Next time when I sleep at night, I will definitely turn on the flying mode." The phone call was from Li Yan. "I am in the Crescent Moon. Where are you?" "Xiwan." She struggled to get dressed and get out of bed. After washing her face, the door opened. It was Min who had returned, followed by Li Yan. She asked, "Is it just this crappy room, or is it a double room?" "Xiwan, it's already pretty good." She had been to the Northwest Desert before, and she had also been to Shanghai Poverty Valley. Those places were not only luxurious hotels, but even hotels were luxurious. It could be said that she had no place to spend her money. If she did not stay in her own tent, she would stay in the nearby farmhouses. At night, insects, snakes, rats would make a scene, and it was a luxury to be able to fall asleep. Now that there was a clean and refreshing star-rated hotel, she would not be picky. Li Yan had a look of disdain on her face. "I bought a villa next door." "Xiwan." Back then, she often acted here and only rented a villa to sleep in. This person had bought a villa with a wave of her hand. Rich and beautiful, as expected, rich and willful. Don't mention how comfortable it is to live here. Li Yan sighed. He-min, who was at the side, had a pair of round eyes that were in a daze. "If living in a villa isn't comfortable, then do you want to live on the moon?" Li Yan sized up Xiwan's residence from top to bottom. "Since you're my roommate, I can reluctantly let you stay." "Xiwan, no, thank you." Li Yan bristled. "Why?" She was on the verge of breaking down. F***CK. I even pulled down my face to let her stay with me, but she actually rejected me. "This place is close to the production team. It's almost winter, so you can let me stay in bed." Shiwan looked at her quilt. Sigh, it must be cold. Li Yin and He Min. Up to you. You can stay in this shabby house if you like. When the three-star hotel owner heard this, he would definitely be filled with emotion. Miss, what are you saying? Although I'm not a five-star hotel owner, I can't be associated with shabby. He Min looked at the low pressure on her and asked weakly, Do you want to go for dinner first? Lien, HMPH. I want hot pot. She still remembered that she had said that she wanted to treat her to a hot pot. Triple X Hot Pot Restaurant. As it was close to the filming location of H Restaurant, business was very good all day and all year round. Although it was already 9 o'clock in the evening, there were no empty seats. At this time, there were very few tourists here. Most of them were extras or behind-the-scenes staff of the film crew who had just finished filming the night scene. Shiwan and Li Yin were lucky. As soon as they entered, a table full of guests left, so they were led to the private room of the hot pot restaurant. The three of them only sat down after the waiter of the hot pot restaurant had tidied up the table. The waiter who received their orders was a short man with outstanding facial features. When he saw that two of the guests he received were super beauties, he was excited. Needless to say, they must be big stars. Although he received a lot of celebrities all year round, there were really no such good-looking ones. The internet was saying that celebrities were just passers-by, but they had good makeup. PFFD, those were the jealous comments of ugly women. If they really wanted to be passers-by, how could they become celebrities? Look at the two in front of her. They were obviously without makeup, and they were so beautiful that they were bubbling. Li Yin took the menu calmly and casually typed a few words before passing it to the young man next to her. He Min asked timidly, That's all you ordered? As soon as she finished speaking, she heard Li Yin say to the waiter, Don't even take the ones that have been ticked. He Min and the waiter. Shiwan was already used to it. It was the first time He Min had seen such a magical way of ordering dishes. This is too much. He Min swallowed her saliva and finally managed to make things clear. Li Yin glanced at Shiwan. You said you wanted to treat me to hot pot, but I said I wanted to eat you poor. I know, you don't have to emphasize it. It didn't cost much to order all the ingredients here. He Min looked at Li Yan's matter-of-fact attitude and Shiwan's nonchalant attitude. Is it really good to waste food like this? The waiter was still more rational. We have responded to the country's call to treasure food and eliminate waste. So, you can eat as much as you want. I can make 2 more trips. He was happy to make 2 more trips. Li Yan's face was red as she glared at the waiter. All right, give me a new list. Shiwan held back her laughter and didn't say anything. Li Yan pouted and browsed through the list. What the hell? How would I know what this dish looks like without a picture? Shiwan, all right, you're here to pick a fight. The waiter, in the end, it was Shiwan who ordered the dishes. The waiter thanked her profusely and left. He even added in his heart, As expected, a hot beauty can't hold it in. People who look like immortals are the most innocent, kind, and cute. The first dish was the bottom of a crab stir-fried rice cake. It was bright red in color, and under the light, it was moist. Just looking at it made one's mouth salivate and appetite soar. The three of them ate for more than half an hour at the bottom of the pot before ordering the hot pot soup. The side dishes that were on the menu just now were already on the side. Li Yin had a bitter expression. I feel like I can't eat anymore. It was as if her clothes were a little tight. When Sister found out that she was still eating hot pot at night and was still stuffed, she would definitely be shaved. He Min was embarrassed. She said that she couldn't eat anymore after eating the bottom of the pot. She thought that she had a big appetite, so she had to order a full table. Shiwan's appetite wasn't that big either. In the end, she still ate some lettuce. In the end, He Min took care of Shiwan's order alone. After eating, she almost fell to the ground and said, Never eat hot pot again. Shiwan swiped her card and paid. The waiter next to her shyly asked Shiwan, Can I take a photo with you? Li Yin was angry. Why are you asking her for a photo? F***CK. She was much more beautiful than Jiang Shiwan. Why was she still popular? The waiter, I like her. Therefore, under the glare of the beautiful female customer, the waiter stopped thinking about taking a photo. Then give me your autograph. Li Yin F***CK. Would it kill him to say that both of them wanted to take a photo with him? He actually changed it to autograph. Shiwan looked at the waiter running up and down. His attitude was very good, so she generously agreed to take a photo with him. The waiter was very happy. He borrowed his colleague's DSLR and asked his colleague to take a photo with him. Lian pulled him in over and squeezed the waiter to the side. Shiwan was in the middle, so the waiter stood beside him in with a bitter expression. When they left the hot pot restaurant, the cold wind blew, and everyone woke up a lot. The smell of hot pot had also dissipated a lot, and they returned to the crescent moon. "I'll stay in your room tonight." Lian yawned. She ate her fill and went to sleep. She hoped that sister would not know. "What?" Hemin was stunned. "Are you sure?" "Of course." Lian nodded. The way she looked now, her fitted long dress was tight, and she smelled like hot pot. She absolutely could not go back, otherwise the little assistant would turn into a monk and not only complain, she would also want her to go to the gym to exercise. God knows, ever since sister took her in, she had been eating bland soup every day. Not only was her mouth bland, but she had also been forced to work out. Her figure was already very good, but sister said that she was only thin and did not have any lines. She needed to train her lines. It was heart-wrenching. Every day, she was suffering like a cabbage that no one wanted. She was about to wither. Otherwise, how could she call Jiang Shiwan the moment she appeared in Store H? And when she finally had the time, she would run over to freeload. How could Hemin know of Li Yan's complicated psychological activities? However, she wanted guessed a thing or two. It was just that she often updated on her Weibo account, "Little cabbage, yellow soil, brother, your sister is so hungry." Of course, Li Jian did not make any movements. His entire head was probably buried in his work documents. Back in the hotel room, while Hemin went in to take a shower, Li Yin asked Shiwan, "How's the progress recently?" Shiwan was stunned for a moment, knowing that she was referring to the matter of pursuing Li Jian. "Isn't there 3 years? Your brother, Kale and Flower, it's not that easy." The truth was that Shiwan had been really busy recently and had completely forgotten about this matter now that she thought about it. She felt a little guilty. But on second thought, she hadn't hugged Li Yan's golden thigh yet, so she was a little calmer. Li Yan looked Jiang Shiwan up and down for a long time. That's true. Anyway, she had 3 years. As long as she could prove that her brother wasn't gay, it would be fine. Sigh. She couldn't help but worry again. If her brother didn't even like Jiang Shiwan, she shook her head and didn't think about it anymore. Because the more she thought about it, the more she felt that her brother was gay, although her brother had always denied it. Why couldn't Zheng Nuo share any of his promiscuous feelings with her older brother? He was a 27-year-old virgin, and he had never liked any woman. She felt ashamed just talking about it. He was even worse off than her younger sister. At least she had another goal. Jiang Yan. Jiang Shiwan had to get together with her brother as soon as possible. This would not only prove that her brother wasn't gay, but it would also make Jiang give up. It was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Shiwan sat at the side and drank warm water. She looked at Li Yan's beautiful little face, and her expression varied. She was happy, worried, excited, and happy. "Shiwan, by the way, Zheng Nuo was sent abroad by my brother last week. He'll be here in 2 days." "Zheng Nuo? What was he doing here?" "My cousin, the one who wants to be your manager." "I know. I always feel that he is a saboteur. You have to pray for yourself." Zheng Nuo could be a manager, Hemin, who had just come out of the shower, blinked. Who said that about her cousin? The next morning at 7 o'clock, Shiwan was woken up by Hemin. So sleepy, she struggled to get out of bed, only to realize that there was no one beside her. The sleepyhead immediately ran halfway. When she looked again, she saw that Li Yan, who was sleeping with her, was lying on the ground, fast asleep. Shiwan. Was it because she slept differently, or because Li Yan slept badly? Hemin, who was brushing her teeth. After Li Yan woke up, she was furious. Fortunately, the temperature of the air conditioner was high last night, so she didn't catch a cold. After they were ready, the 3 of them had breakfast in the hotel's restaurant. They didn't expect Chun Jiabao and her assistant to be eating there as well. Chun Jiabao greeted Shiwan. When he saw the unfamiliar Li Yan, he smiled and nodded. "Hello." Li Yan raised her chin and nodded proudly. While they were eating, Li Yan's phone rang. It was her little assistant. She had already driven to the Half Moon Hotel's entrance and was waiting for her. After breakfast, Shi-wan and Li Yin parted at the hotel's entrance. Chun Jiabao and Shi-wan went to the production team together. The assistant at the side was very observant as he walked behind them and whispered to them. The early morning wind was as cold as a blade, and it made their faces hurt. The French parasol trees on both sides were crisscrossed, but their leaves were yellowed. They fell to the ground with the wind from time to time, making a few circles in the air before quietly lying back in the earth's embrace. The 8 shop was not only the filming location, but also a scenic spot. At this time, there were only a few tourists, and there were quite a few people. Shi-wan was good-looking, and Chun Jiabao was not bad either. Many tourists on the road turned around, their eyes filled with confusion, but by the time they realized what was happening, the two of them had already gone far away. Chun Jiabao walked beside Shi-wan and asked curiously, "Didn't the internet say that you two didn't get along?" Shi-wan turned her head to look at Chun Jiabao. "We used Weibo to refute the rumors." If she didn't believe that we used Weibo to refute the rumors, she would rather believe the rumors. Shi-wan only smiled. Chun Jiabao blushed. Oh, there was nothing else to say. Fortunately, the production team was close to them, and they arrived before long. Shi-wan had 5 scenes today. Compared to the 2 scenes from yesterday, the workload had doubled. However, the most she shot was 10 scenes a day, from 6 in the morning to 10 at night, so this intensity was within her range of adaptation. Shi-wan had a lot of scenes, so of course, the one who complained was Zhou Dong. After all, he was the stylist that the director had specially hired to do makeup for the female lead. I usually do 1 makeup a day, but ever since I joined our production team, the director has been very polite to me with 2 makeup. It wasn't easy to settle you, right? Who over there should touch up their makeup? If there are no other free makeup artists, fine, I'll have to do it again. I'm so tired that I can't even straighten my waist. Shi-wan smiled. Those who are capable work hard. I like to hear that. I'll have that kid Guyi buy me some 90-year-old Tiger Bone wine later. The makeup artist who was styling Chun Jiabao smiled and said, "Teacher Zhou, you have to extort more from Director Gu." Zhou Dong waved his hand. "This guy is stingy. He'll be thankful if he can extort half a kilogram. His family has so much money that he wouldn't be able to spend it all in his lifetime. He actually developed such a stingy character." Chun Jiabao said, "Is Guye's family very rich?" She had been his schoolmate for 4 years, but she had never heard of his family being a wealthy family. Zhou Dong said, "He's rich. He was a young master from Huaka Real Estate. If he didn't owe his brother a favor, why would he come to his production team to be a stylist? Every day, he would follow the production team, and all the meat that he had worked so hard to raise would fall off. His heart ached so much for him." Chun Jiabao said, "Oh." Zhou Dong said, "Shi-wan, you don't have a boyfriend, right?" "Yes." "Work hard." Zhou Dong winked. "A scholar and a beautiful woman. They're a good match." He, Zhou Dong, had always been a good judge of character. The little girl in front of him might not look old, but she was neither anxious nor impatient, neither proud nor proud, and had a steady personality. She was a good match. If they were to put aside their family background, they would be a good match for Guyi. Cheetah is not my idol. To be able to make Zhou Dong praise the rich, she must be from a rich and influential family. Back then, as Jiang Shi-wan, she had a net worth of billions. She was also a clean-cut person in the entertainment industry, but she still could not enter Lin Shi's house. Lin Shi's mother spoke of her with disdain. She's just an actress who sold her body, yet she still wants to climb up to the dragon in Phoenix. Don't you see how big her face is? And Lin Shi only said that his mother was just like that, so please forgive her. Even when her child was killed by his mother, he only said that his mother was like that, and that he would forgive her hee-hee. Their baby's life could not be compared to a single strand of his mother's hair. Their baby could not be compared to his mother's push, and their 7-year relationship could not be compared to Sun Wanyu's shameless spread of her legs. Yes, she was cheap. Who asked her to be the first to speak? I'll follow you, but you have to protect my path in the entertainment industry. Believe me, I'll make you a lot of money. All the sincerity that she had given up was just a transaction of money and beauty in his eyes. Now that he thought about it, he had been so stupid and hateful back then. On the 15th, The official Weibo of the production team of Tang Dynasty showed a very domineering photo of the main actors. Official Weibo of the Geisha record of the Tang Dynasty by Shuang at Jiangshuan06. Official Weibo of the Geisha record of the Tang Dynasty. Li Yi at Xiao Tsong V. Official Weibo of the Geisha record of the Tang Dynasty. Su Wenwan at Shun Jiabao V. The official Weibo account of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty. Xia Xian at Dong Su V high definition, large image high definition, large image high definition, large image. This series of hyped up on the internet male and female lead. 2 male and 2 female actors and 2 female actors are all high-definition makeup photos of the way out. Like a deep-water torpedo, detonated the entire microblog. The fans, who had been waiting for so long, were shocked, and many of them said they couldn't accept it. After all, before this, in order to recommend their favorite artists to the cast and crew to play their roles in their hearts, they almost flooded the comments below the official V of the cast and crew, and even quarreled with the fans of other artists, but they had never thought that the director would not choose anyone. They cursed in the comment section, "Director, are you F*** King kidding us a bunch of nameless people playing Li Yi and Bai Shuang? Are they even worthy? The director, his entire family of fans will die. Director, go to hell, who is this gigolo? Can he play our domineering Li Yi? F***CK, it's Jiang Shuan again. F***CK. She appears every day in the Hot Topic Rate My Eyes. It's so annoying, she won't even explain when the road turns black. Director, do you have good taste? You actually found a scheming scheme? Jiang Shuan was obviously a white lotus. Hence, as they cursed, the focus was on the Weibo post where the official V announced Jiang Shuan's makeup photo. Many people even posted the topic hashtag Jiang Shuan. Get out of the entertainment industry hashtag Jiang Shuan, get out. Hashtag Jiang Shuan, refusing to look at the Tang Dynasty hashtag. There were also people who called her a slut and cursed her like a bitch. Among them, even though there were internet trolls adding fuel to the fire, Zhao Ji and Tang Tang's fans also went all out. What right did this slut have to take away the role that belonged to Zhao Ji/Tang Tang? Dirty tricks. This woman must have been cheated. Dirty tricks. I won't watch with her. I won't contribute to the box office. Hashtag it's not worth it for Zhao Ji hashtag. Hashtag Tang Tang doesn't cry hashtag. Hashtag Tang Dynasty cast and crew's unspoken rules hashtag. Hashtag boycotting records of the geisha of Tang Dynasty hashtag. And other topics kept popping up on trending topics. Although there were quite a number of rational fans who said that these actors were very good-looking and quite suited the image in the book. But the voices of such people really couldn't resist the vast and mighty, angry netizens who thought they were the truth. At the same time, Tang Tang also posted a meaningful Weibo post on her Weibo. Thank you for the comfort of the candies. I am very happy every day now. The high-definition big picture took a big selfie with a smile. Zhao Ji also posted a meaningful Weibo post. There is no absolute fairness in this world, so in order to resist the injustice that falls on you, you should work hard. The high-definition big picture gym trained the high-definition big picture show's vest. These two Weibo posts were so meaningful at the same time, instantly causing the eyes of all the gossip marketing accounts to shine, and they all forwarded. The online loudest by Shuang actor was snatched away by Jiang Shuan. Is there really no shady business? There were also gossip marketing accounts that posted Jiang Shuan's rise. A celebrity gossip V said, photo, delete, open Weibo, Discord with Li Yin from the same school, bad character, kept as a mistress, wine party photos, official makeup photos. This series of actions was clearly a PR team's way of hyping up celebrities. What do you guys think? One by one, the netizens instantly turned into little angels of justice and ran to Shuan's or Tang Dynasty's main team's Weibo to curse. Gui posted on his own Weibo, I believe in my judgment. The comments below were all the same. You believe in Jiang Shuan's sex skills, right? Hashtag Jiang Shuan got out of the entertainment industry hashtag refused to watch the Tang Dynasty geisha record hashtag. Such comments were liked thousands of times and were trending. However, Gui no longer cared about this group of people. After the official V of the production crew posted the makeup photo, Shiwan only reposted it half an hour later. Jiang Shiwan 06. By Shuang. Please look forward to it. // Tang Dynasty Geisha Record Official Weibo V. By Shuang at Jiang Shiwan 06 High Definition Big Picture. As a result, the war that was originally raging in the Tang Dynasty was transferred to Shiwan's Weibo. For a time, Shiwan's Weibo was in a mess. Fortunately, most of Shiwan's true fans silently supported her. They didn't argue with the netizens, only scrolling through the messages they supported and scrolling down all the bad messages. However, the path of the internet trolls plus Zhao Ji fans plus Tang Sugar fans plus mentality was too vast, so in less than half an hour, there were already tens of thousands of comments. At this time, Tianying officially announced a long Weibo post. Tianying Media Company's official Weibo. Statement Yogi Note. This statement is not original. It was adapted from Tao Jiji's July 1st official letter from a lawyer. As for the recent XX marketing number, XXX marketing number, XX netizens, and so on, about my company's artiste, through Xsina Weibo, XE, Ting X, and many other internet platforms and media, spreading false news about my company's artiste Jiang Shuan being kept, unspoken rules, and so on. My company believes that the above-mentioned people's comments have caused Jiang Shuan's public image and social evaluation to be seriously derogated, and the circumstances are serious. For this reason, my company has on November 15, 2015, entrusted this matter to the B-City XXX law firm to handle, and reserves the legal right to pursue her related responsibilities according to law. Tianying Media Company Seal. XXX Law Firm's official seal. November 15, 2015. The netizens who were still scolding people, one after another, stopped what they were doing. In their minds, there was only one word. F***CK. They're really going to sue. Many people refused to admit defeat. They were so angry that they commented at the bottom of Tianying official V, keep pretending. Birds of a feather scum boycott Tianying. Tianying relied on the operation of its own water army, coupled with Jiang Shuan's popularity, and quickly became a hot topic. Some of the timid netizens stopped criticizing and started to watch. The marketing account and netizens who were tagged were also dumbfounded, especially that netizen. He had only followed the trend and fantasized about it. He didn't expect to be retweeted for 500 times and was targeted by a big company. You're going to receive a lawyer's letter. Damn it. I've never received a lawyer's letter because of my glib tongue. I'm calling you a slut. As for the marketing account, they were the ones who took money from others. Sometimes, they would also take over Tianying's business. This was something that everyone understood. However, they didn't expect Tianying to be serious about Jiang Shuan and sue them. F***CK. The person who gave the money did not say that Jiang Shuan was very important to Tianying. After reincarnating, she no longer believed in men. Zhou Dong was stunned when he heard Shuan's cold and indifferent cheetah Fei Dui. He came back to his senses and sighed. You're right. It's best if we're of the same social class. He didn't expect that no young girl would be able to see through someone as old as him. If she kept her original intentions, with her looks and acting skills, she might even reach the peak of the entertainment industry. Chen Jiabao said, You can't be so old-fashioned. After all, there is love between Cinderella and the prince in reality. Cinderella was also a noble before Dong Su, who was wearing makeup, and the second male lead, who did not have much presence, rarely spoke up. The dressing room was silent for a while. It was not until Xiao Qin came to inquire that everyone returned to the initial lively atmosphere. Shuan's main focus today was peach blossom makeup. She was filming by Shuang and her class teacher's daughter, Su Wenwan and Chen Jiabao, as they went shopping together. Chang'an Street was full of merchants coming and going. Then, the noble son of the capital galloped on his horse. The horse was startled. The moment he was about to collide with Bai Shuang, the male lead, Li Yi, appeared. He was the hero who saved the beauty. Su Wenwan, who was beside him, also secretly admired him because of this. The set designer had already set up the scene. The set manager held a small speaker in one hand and a memo in the other, constantly confirming the scene. It could be said that the people behind the scenes of the movie were all orderly and efficient in their duties. She had acted in the movie for so many years, and she had rarely seen such a serious and responsible crew. Suddenly, Shi-won thought of a very funny line. If XX was not popular, the heavens would not allow it. It was also possible to replace Gu Yi with XX. After the attendants confirmed that everything was ready, they jogged to the director's side and said, "Okay." Gu Yi's face was serious. He held the small speaker and said, "Take your positions." Shi-won and Chun Jiabao held hands and walked to Chang'an Street. All the extras were ready to show their expressions. "Take your positions. 3, 2, 1, action." With a kacha sound, everyone who was ready took out their best acting skills. Because of the Empress Dowager's reward a few days ago, the class teacher, Su Yi, was in a good mood. Not only did she make 2 sets of clothes for everyone, but she also gave everyone a tael of silver as a reward. Bai Shuang was the main force, and Su Yi generously rewarded her with 20 taels of silver. Su Wenwan was Su Yi's daughter, and she was on good terms with Bai Shuang. This time, Bai Shuang received a reward, so she was happy for her. Thus, she told her mother, Su Yi, that she wanted to buy some noodles to give to Bai Shuang. Su Yi had eaten more than 10 years more than Su Wenwan, so she naturally knew that her daughter just wanted an excuse to go out and play. This was the first time Chun He class went to the capital. A few days ago, they had been rehearsing in this big house. Since her daughter had been detained for a long time, she naturally looked forward to the streets outside. Therefore, Su Yi complied with Su Wenjuan's request. Bai Shuang and Su Wenwan then came to Chang'an Street, the most prosperous street in the capital of the magnificent Tang Empire. On the way, there were many merchants who came to play. Bai Shuang was a little surprised to see them. Her small mouth was slightly open, and her big eyes blinked as she stared at the merchants of different skin colors coming and going. Su Wenwan, who was next to her, constantly shuttled between the stalls. From time to time, she called out, Bai Shuang, come here and take a look at this silk flower." Then, she ran over and pulled Bai Shuang's long sleeve. "Go over there." Bai Shuang was pulled by Su Wenwan to the silk flower stall. Su Wenwan picked up a big red flower and put it on her head. "Is it nice?" Gu Yi frowned. Chun Jiabao. Su Wenwan is a young girl who hasn't lost her innocence. Chun Jiabao lowered his head. "On your marks, 3, 2, 1, action." Bai Shuang, come here and take a look at this silk flower. Go over there." Chun Jiabao, the positioning is wrong. On your marks, 3, 2, 1, action. Cut. Chun Jiabao. After a few consecutive scenes, Chun Jiabao's acting got worse and worse. Gu Yi was so angry that his face turned livid. "If you don't know how to act, then get out of here. Since we haven't filmed much, there aren't many scenes to fill up. Get out of here." Chun Jiabao's eyes turned red from Gu Yi's words. "I'm sorry, Gu Yi. Give me another chance." "Damn it." Gu Yi was furious. "Jiang Shiwan, show her how you act." Shiwan looked at the livid Gu Yi and then at the red-eyed Chun Jiabao. She had no choice but to act as Su Wenwan. The charming and lively girl appeared in front of everyone. Bai Shuang, come here and take a look at this silk flower. Let's go over there." "Is it good?" A series of lines flowed smoothly. When Shiwan returned to her expressionless face, everyone came to a realization. Oh, the performance was over. Gu Yi said to Chun Jiabao, "See, this is what acting is like. Speaking of which, you're from B-movie. You're not as good as a non-professional actor." Chun Jiabao wiped his tears and looked at Shiwan with a hint of jealousy in his eyes. "On your marks, 3, 2, 1, action." He barely passed the part where he went shopping with Chun Jiabao. After that, it was time for the scene where the noble son of the capital galloped on his horse. Dong Su was riding on his horse. "Giddy up. Make way, make way." The vendors on both sides were knocked to the side. The camera cut to Bai Shuang and suddenly saw the fast horse galloping towards them. Bai Shuang was stunned for a moment. Seeing that she was about to bump into Su Wenwan, Bai Shuang pushed her away. The horse's hooves were already approaching her. In an instant, Li turned around and hugged the dazed Bai Shuang. A close-up of Bai Shuang and Li looking at each other. Their eyes met. Bai Shuang's eyes turned from panic to surprise, while Li Yi gave a wild smile. Bai Shuang immediately looked away, her fair little face showing a hint of shyness. Cut. This time it was over. Gu Yi was still not very satisfied with the last scene. He could not help but take the script and fan it wildly. Shao Qin, director, it's almost winter. Gu Yi glared at Shao Qin. Actually, it was not that Chun Jiabao's acting was not good, but Shi Wan and Shao Tsung's acting was too good. Moreover, the silent performance of Dong Su was also very dazzling. Compared to the halo of these few people, coupled with Gu Ye's nitpicking personality, Chun Jiabao's normal performance was not enough. Gu Yi sighed. If everyone had the acting skills of Jiang Shiwan and Shao Tsung, he would not have to worry so much. If the other veteran directors knew that Gu Yi had this kind of thought in his heart, they would definitely vomit blood. There were two talented actors, and they were not satisfied, but they actually expected everyone to be like them. They were too greedy. Chun Jiabao was scolded so badly by Gu Yi in the first scene that he could not find his bearings. In the following scenes, he tensed up and even asked Shiwan for advice on acting skills. Shiwan only gave a few pointers, and in the end, she had passed all 3 scenes, which was an improvement. Although Gu Yi was not very satisfied with this efficiency, he was not as picky as he was in the first scene. The producer watched the scenes for a day and felt all kinds of satisfaction. Seeing that the situation was getting better and better day by day, he called the producer on the weekend to report on the weekly work situation. He smiled slyly. Our director sure knows how to pick people. Even though they're all newbies, their acting skills are really good. They passed most of the scenes in just 2 takes. The filming time has been greatly shortened. In the blink of an eye, early December. The days were short and the nights were long. The temperature in Z province dropped drastically. Most of the people on set wore cotton-padded jackets. Hemin supported her chin. Last year on this day, I was still holed up in my dorm to fatten up. I didn't expect to be able to earn my own living this year. Zheng Nuo, who was at the side, said, looks like you gained quite a lot of fatness last year. Hemin, I really want to scold you. Fall. Why was Shi Wan's manager him? Indirectly, it also became his own head. I miss Sister Lisa. Fall. Zheng Nuo saw Hemin's constipated face, and her mouth was so pouty that it could hang a piece of clothing. He took a comfortable sip of hot coffee and said, in this kind of weather, you should drink a cup of hot coffee. So cheap. Hemin was even more displeased when she saw his expression. Hemin was not the only one. The other actors who were filming all had the same thought. So cheap. It was early winter, but the time in the movie was summer and autumn, so everyone was wearing thin xia shirts, especially the female actors. Their chests were bare. It was fine if there was no wind, but if there was wind, that was simply too much. Looking at the cheap Zheng Nuo, Hemin not only thought of that day, Zheng Nuo's cheap way of appearing that day. Zheng Nuo had arrived 10 days ago. His way of appearing had shocked the entire cast and crew of Tang Dynasty. It was a sunny day. The cast and crew of the Tang Dynasty had just finished filming a scene and were preparing for the next scene. Suddenly, a flashy red Porsche with a serial number 8 from Z province appeared in everyone's field of vision. With such a high-profile car, there were naturally a lot of people paying attention to it. However, everyone was thinking more. Which cast had rented this prop car? The car door opened, and a handsome man wearing a white windbreaker and blue jeans got out. He looked like the male lead of an idol drama and wore a pair of sunglasses. Then he slowly took them off. Everyone. First, the way he appeared second, he was so handsome third. Who was he? Hence, everyone stared unblinkingly at this unfamiliar handsome guy. They saw him open the front passenger seat, take a bouquet of 99 bright red roses, and walk towards the crew. Everyone. Which rich young master? Who is he visiting so excited? There's gossip at 00. Then, they saw this unfamiliar handsome guy looking at everyone who was stunned. He revealed a mysterious smile and walked straight towards the female lead, Jiang Shiwan. Then, he handed the roses in his hand to Shiwan with an expression like, Shiwan. Just as everyone was feeling excited, they heard him say, "Hello, everyone. I'm Jiang Shiwan's manager, Zheng Nua. Everyone, just call me Nua. Everyone staggered. What the hell? This is a manager? I've read a lot. You can't fool me. That's Shiwan's assistant. He looked around. My name is Emin. She was in front of him. Oh, there's a lot of food in the car. Go get it and share it with everyone. Zheng Nua nodded and ordered very naturally. Then he said to the stunned crowd, I was overseas a few days ago and didn't rush over. Please forgive me for being late. Speaking of which, our Shi Wan is still a newcomer. Please take good care of her. Shi Wan. After saying that, Zheng Nua looked at Jiang Shiwan and winked at her. Your eyes are cramping. Zheng Nua, the goddess was right. Although Min was still in a daze, she still followed Zheng Nua's instructions and went to get something. In the end, when she opened the car, she saw that it was full of things. It was simply blinding. More than 20 pizzas were stacked together. 3 barrels of KFC chicken wings, more than 10 boxes of egg tarts, 3 big bags of apples, 3 cartons of cherries, and 2 boxes of Starbucks hot coffee. Could she carry them all by herself? When the crew saw that a table was full of food, they were speechless. How could such a small trunk fit all of these? Awesome. We came in a hurry, so we bought some random things. Let's make do. I'll treat everyone tonight. No. After that, Zheng Nua had to arrange afternoon tea for all the crew members from time to time, successfully establishing a solid revolutionary friendship with the crew. Now that everyone saw him, they kept calling him Nua, and it was needless to say how affectionate they were. There was once when Zhou Dong looked at Zheng Nua, who had praised the makeup artist across from him, and then looked at Shi Wan and said, Is this really your manager? This was the first time he had heard of a manager in the industry called Zheng Nua. He looked imposing and did not look like it at all. I think so. Sister Lisa had already informed her. Zhou Dong narrowed his eyes. I keep feeling that he looks quite familiar. Then he slapped his thigh again. Is this the Zheng Nua who often gets in entertainment gossip? Yes. Zhou Dong smacked his lips. I've really seen a ghost. Then he looked at Jiang Shiwan, who was dressed in ancient clothes and looked like a goddess. He instantly understood the twists and turns in her heart. It seemed that this playboy had taken a liking to Shiwan. He planned to use his time to woo a beauty. If it was him, he would have chosen our director Gu. Although he had eaten a lot of him, he could not go against his conscience and bring them together. Shiwan burst out laughing. None of them are my type. Tonight was a night show. The venue had already changed from H Shop to a hill in the provincial capital of Z Province. The scene was by Shuang taking the military defense map that the spies had stolen and exchanging letters with the treacherous officials. She rode her horse and rushed to Chong and overnight. There was a constant pursuit behind her, and the situation was very dangerous. The horse trainer led the white horse and said to Shiwan, You can go around with her again. Shiwan nodded, took out some candy, and fed it to the white horse. Good boy. We have to cooperate well later. Zheng Nua looked at the tall horse and asked the horse trainer again and again, Will this horse go crazy later? The horse trainer. No, sighed, although he knew that the security measures were well taken, but looking at Shiwan's delicate face, he was still worried. After the staff confirmed the contents of each party and saw that they were ready, he said to the director, Okay. The director nodded. On your marks, 3, 2, 1, action. Crack. Shiwan rode the horse in the dark night. She held the reins nervously with one hand. Her body moved up and down, and her fair little face was hurt by the wind. Hiya. Mo, hurry up. She lowered her body and said to the horse. As she rode the horse, she looked back with tears in her eyes, but her eyes were full of determination. Crack. Okay. As expected, it was a one-off. Guyi said, In the future, the female lead's first consideration will be her. She saved money. Of course, Shiwan didn't know that she would be remembered by the future famous director just because she could save him a lot of money. Shiwan got off the horse, indicating that she was tired and cold. Although it was just a performance of walking on the spot. That's right, walking on the spot, she moved up and down on the horse, and the machine moved quickly beside her. The trees on both sides were props in the hands of several extras, and they kept running around her. But this kind of performance was really tiring. Zheng Nuo expressed that this was the first time he had seen such an exaggerated performance. In the monitor, the scene of a person riding a horse and galloping on the spot was actually just a few people holding a few prop trees and flashing past the camera. It's a little magical. Of course, this was only the first scene of the night scene. There were still 2 more scenes to go. The previous scene was just a warm-up. After Shiwan dismounted, Zheng Nuo eagerly handed her a white down jacket and a glass of boiling water. He Min, who had been robbed of her life, said, "Is the assistant. Fall." Looking at the goddess who looked so delicate even when drinking water, Zheng Nuo's eyes sparkled. In the end, he took out his phone and took a side photo. Because it was night, the light was not good, so the photo was particularly hazy and artistic. He secretly set the photo as wallpaper. He glanced at Jiang Shiwan, who was sitting at the side and reading the script. Suddenly, he felt a little hot, especially his face. It was so hot. His entire body was hot. Fan. Heeman looked at Zheng Nuo, who was so hot despite the strong wind. Crazy. Of course, Zheng Nuo did not know that Heeman despised him. He only cared about himself, admiring this beautiful photo of the century. He felt that he was not only a great manager, but also a photography expert. Therefore, he could not wait to log into his Rare Weibo account and post. Even drinking water looks so good. Zheng Nuo's Weibo account was a pornographic V with a verified number. The verified information was that he was a member of the XXX Car Club. Most of the people who followed him were members of the club or some wild models. Because he was often in the gossip magazines, there were many gossip reporters who followed him. He secretly posted a Weibo account, and the club members were sneakily commenting. "Hey, which young model has caught the eye of Lushan's claw again? Let me do it." B. TSK Tisk, look at this side. Even such a loose down jacket can't stop the surge in the chest. It's so I really want to touch it. As for some of the wild models, they were Wild Model, Young Master Zheng, you found a new lover. Wild Model B, it's just so. TSK, his chest isn't even as big as mine. Zheng Nuo directly ignored these wild models. He only felt that his friends, who usually played well, were an eyesore. Speaking of which, he usually joked with his friends like this, but when he saw them talk so dirty this time, he was very angry. He even impulsively wanted to drag them out and beat them up. Hence, he only commented on the bottom, "Don't talk nonsense." Those scoundrels were stunned. "Hey, this is... B, something's wrong. Isn't this supposed to be fun?" Zheng Nuo replied, "Don't talk nonsense. This isn't my girlfriend." Following that, Zheng Nuo sent another Weibo post. "I'm now Sky Shadow's manager. That was my subordinate's artiste at Jiangshuan06. Everyone take good care of her." Then, Zheng Nuo looked at his own certification information. It was so awkward, so he contacted his secretary to change it. Sky Shadow Media Company's gold medal manager. F*CK. F*CK. That's how shameless it is. His friends were stunned and left comments. F*CK. It's that great beauty, Jiang Shiwan, my new goddess. F*CK. If you dare to touch her, I'll fight you to the death. You brat. It seems like you want to get close to her first. You're so cunning. F*CK. Why doesn't my dad open an entertainment company? I want to open an entertainment company too. Don't stop me. Does Sky Shadow still call an agent? The kind that gives you money. Looking at these finally normal style of friends, Zheng Nuo, the whole person is a little princess. Well, do you think it's that easy to be an agent? Every day will become artificial alarm clock, call over the phone, wake up by breakfast, but also to pack the crew's breakfast, afternoon tea, sometimes also have to treat dinner, help artists to build a good interpersonal foundation. Zheng Nuo nagged to say that he had done work to show off his merits. If he Min saw, must complain, "Grass, you are in the way here. Okay, artificial alarm clock, do you think she's dead? Breakfast on set. Afternoon tea. Treat her to a meal. That's because you have too much money to burn." He Min, who was standing at the side, looked at Zheng Nuo, who had a tsundra look on his face. She once again complained at her heart. Crazy. Oh my. I suddenly remembered that I haven't even started a fan relationship with Shiwan yet, just as he ran over. The director had already shouted, "Everyone, take your positions." Xiwan took off her down jacket, shivered, and walked towards the camera. Zheng Nuo said, "It's so hard for the goddess to act." Then, he put down his phone and said, "HMPH, I won't play with you humans for the time being. I'll watch the goddess act seriously." There were a lot of people participating in this scene, so they had to shoot a few scenes before it was over. Guy didn't say much since it was within the normal range. Zheng Nuo saw that his goddess was implicated by others and took a few more NGS. He silently complained, "What kind of people are they? If they don't know how to act, don't act. They're always dragging the goddess down. Can't you see that the sky is so dark, the wind is so strong, and the temperature is so low?" When the scene finally ended, Zheng Nuo was the first to run over. He handed over a down jacket and warm water. "Your lips are all frozen purple. It's been hard on you." Xiwan's expression was indifferent. "It's normal. There are even more difficult filming environments." "That's right, Xiwan. You didn't follow me on Weibo." Xiwan had only been on Weibo a few times since filming a month ago. Most of them were managed by Hemin, so she said go talk to Hemin. Zheng Nuo blinked. "She's managing your Weibo?" Before Xiwan could reply, Zheng Nuo said anxiously, "I'm your manager. I'll manage your Weibo in the future." Xiwan looked at Zheng Nuo and scanned him from top to bottom. No, in the end, he would turn into a lunatic. The goddess had rejected him so decisively. Zheng Nuo's young mind expressed that it had been greatly damaged. Calculate the area of psychological trauma. Seeing that there was no turning back, Zheng Nuo could only retreat to Hemin's side and say to her, "Quickly follow me." Hemin blinked. "Why would I follow a crazy person like you?" However, this person in front of her was her immediate superior, so she had no choice but to follow his instructions. She opened her phone and logged into her Weibo. "Is this Zheng Nuo's ID number?" "That's right." Hemin clicked follow. Zheng Nuo excitedly opened his phone, but he saw that Jiangshuan06V was not among the new fans. *Hemin, hurry up and follow me. "I followed you." Zheng Nuo glanced at the fan list and pulled it up and down, then pointed it at Hemin. "Where is it?" "Isn't this me?" Hemin pointed at Hemin Yang V who attacked. "F*CK, I want Jiang Shuan, not you." Hemin, F*CK. She shouldn't pay attention to him either, who was to blame if he didn't speak clearly fall. Zheng Nuo finally got the chance to be Jiang Shuan's fan. He turned off his former friend, turned off, turned off, turned off again. Finally, Jiang Shuan 06 became the first person he paid attention to. After Zheng Nuo finished, he was very satisfied. After 3 night scenes, it was already 11 p.m. The director yawned. "Let's call it a day. We'll rest for half a day tomorrow. Thank you for your hard work." Of course, only the behind-the-scenes staff of Group A were resting. If there were scenes to be shot in Group B or C tomorrow, the main actors like Xiwan would still have to rush over. He didn't know what the production team was thinking, but the workload of shooting scenes day and night was quite heavy. The original 4-month shooting schedule would probably end in 2 or 3 months based on Gu Ye's desperate shooting style. As the female lead, Xiwan had a lot of scenes. There was still a scene tomorrow morning, but this scene was scheduled for 10 a.m., which meant that she could sleep in. The high-intensity shooting for the past few days was difficult for even an experienced actor like Xiwan, not to mention Xiao Tsong, Chen Jiabao, Dong Su, and other rookies. Xiwan and Hemin got on a Land Rover that Zheng Nuo drove over. Hemin sat in the front passenger seat, and Xiwan directly laid down to rest in the wide seat behind. Zheng Nuo looked at the tired Xiwan through the rearview mirror, and his heart ached. The star in the north of the night was so bright. The car sped along the road, and the scenery on both sides of the road receded rapidly, like a giant beast whistling past. At 9 o'clock the next day, Xiwan was woken up by Hemin. "I slept so well. It's raining outside. Wear more clothes. Today we're shooting indoors. Your scene has been moved to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but there are 3 scenes." Xiwan nodded. "Sure, I'm hungry." "Knock, knock, knock. It's probably Zheng Nuo." Xiwan yawned. "Then hurry up and get dressed." After Xiwan got dressed and went to the bathroom to wash up, Hemin went to open the door. The person who came over was indeed Zheng who was carrying the breakfast from Suji. I heard that there's no show this morning. Zheng sat on a chair at the side calmly and put the breakfast on the desk. Okay, He Min replied. That's great. We can go out and play. I heard that there are a lot of scenic spots in H shop. Zheng smiled, showing his 8 white teeth. Xiwan, are you going out to play? There's nothing to see. Xiwan was not interested. She had visited shop H many years ago. We're going to Love Valley. I heard that it's very fun there. I'm not going. She did not want to step into that place again in her life. The more she wanted to forget the past, the more she felt like it was a magic box that had been opened. 2 dots and 1 line formed aside, like a silent movie. Frame by frame, scene by scene, it was as clear as yesterday. She still remembered that at that time, she had made a comeback with a martial arts movie and was once again a household name. She had been promoted to an A-list movie and martial arts superstar. Good movies were constantly invited, and it was mostly the directors that she owed a favor to, so they all accepted these scenes. As a result, 365 days a year, she had 300 days to live in H shop. She and Lin, she spent less time together and more time apart. One time, he actually came to visit her in person. At that time, she was flattered and excited. After all, Lin, she was also a very busy person. Then, she asked for 2 days off from the production team. This was the director's greatest help. However, there was nowhere to go during this time. Finally, under the suggestion of her manager, Zhu Qiu, she went to Love Valley, which was famous both at home and abroad. Legend had it that couples who came here could eventually get married. She excitedly downloaded a travel guide online and bought all kinds of necessities. Because she was a superstar, she naturally had to disguise herself. However, her face was too gorgeous. No matter what kind of woman she was, people could easily recognize her. In the end, she pretended to be a man, a pretty little girl. Lin Shi's expression at that time was as if she had eaten shit. At first, he did not want to go with her like this. However, under her persistent persistence, he had to nod and agree. Of course, he also made a request. If I am mistaken as a gay, you have to make it up to me. How could 2 outstanding men appear in Love Valley hand in hand without being misunderstood? That night, the 2 of them were in the hotel, fooling around until they were exhausted. Even though they were physically tired, their hearts felt like they were stepping on cotton candy. It was sweet and sweet. Now that they thought back to how sweet it was back then, it was as if they had eaten shit. It was disgusting, and this shit was actually poisonous. It was really lard that had blinded their hearts, which was why they had eaten poisonous shit. But even though it was disgusting, it still hurt their hearts. It was the kind of pain that felt like someone was pinching their hearts. One pinch, and they would explode and die at any time. Go. I've never played before. Just treat it as accompanying me. Love Valley was an extremely beautiful place. If they could go with Xiwan, you can look for He Min. She might be interested. Zheng F***CK. I want to go with you. He Min F***CK. I don't want to go with him. In the end, Zheng had no choice but to compromise because Miss Li Yin was here. Just as Xiwan sat down to eat breakfast, Miss Li Yin came with a big durian in her hand. When He Min opened the door, she was in a bad mood. The hotel manager. Why didn't he come out to stop her? Xiwan, you just came over with a bomb. Don't look at me with such grateful eyes. Li Yin raised her chin, then turned her head and saw Zheng looking at her with his mouth wide open. Why are you here? How can you say that? I'm your brother. Also, I'm Xiwan's manager. It's normal for me to be here. As for you, I haven't asked you why you're here. Li Yin rolled her eyes and threw the durian over. Jiang Xiwan, peel it for me. I want to eat it too. Of course, before Jiang Xiwan got up to make a move, Zheng took the initiative to break open the durian. He even blamed Li Yin. If you want to eat it, you won't do it yourself. It's your fault. Just because Annie pampers you doesn't mean you're the princess of the world. You're so annoying. No wonder Xiwan doesn't like you. Zheng F***CK, I really want to throw this guy out and give him a good beating. He Min, it stinks, I really want to go out, but it's so cold outside. In the end, the 3 of them happily finished off a big durian. Min was the only one who kept sniffing the perfumed wrist and looking at the three people's expressions of enjoyment. Can this ghost be eaten? After eating the durian, it was already 10 o'clock. Zheng Nuo expressed that since he couldn't go to a distant place to play, he couldn't just stay in this small room. What if he was bored? However, the three of them were not willing to go out on a rainy day. Zheng Nuo appointed them and bought 2 playing cards. He started to fight the landlord with everyone. Time passed quickly without them noticing. It was rare for everyone to have a good time. Hemin's alarm clock rang. Oh, Shiwan, we have to get ready. We have to go to the production team to film. Lian's eyes lit up. I'll go and watch as well. It had been a while since she had seen Jiang Shiwan's performance. She wanted to see how the current her was compared to herself. It had to be known that during this period of time, she had been acting as the female lead of Chun Zai's new drama. Under the guidance of a few veteran actors, as well as the fact that she had immersed herself in the uniqueness of her performance in front of the camera, she had been enlightened. Even her mother had praised her for a rare occasion. It was said that she had finally shed the shackles of artistry and lack of spirit in her performance. The current her could be said to have progressed by leaps and bounds with every day. Zheng Nuo looked at the performance that was full of confidence and could not help but be struck. Come on, you can't compare to Shiwan. Although he did not graduate from a film criticism major, his cousin's performance and Jiang Shiwan's performance, who was good and who was bad, he could still tell. Although his cousin's performance looked like it, it was just like it. Shiwan's performance made him unable to help but immerse himself in the atmosphere at that time. This was the difference. Screw you, you don't know my current acting skills. Humph, my current acting skills. Even Director Chun would praise me for being born to eat this job. The drizzle outside had already stopped. The road was still wet, and the temperature of the air was unprecedentedly cold. Lian shivered. I really can't stand the ghost weather in the south. Hemin nodded in agreement. It's wet, and my whole body feels uncomfortable. I miss B City so much. The heating is on now. Sigh, I'm freezing. Everyone should hurry up and leave. Shiwan was from Z Province in her previous life. She had spent all her time in Z Province in high school, so she was naturally used to the ghost weather in her hometown. It's normal. Li Yin pouted. I keep thinking that you're an old woman. She was only 21 years old, but everything was calm. It was as if nothing could enter her eyes. She hated it. Oh, Shiwan replied. She had already passed that bright and lively age. Now, her lifelong wish was to pull that pair of B** cheese down from the altar and return her former self to innocence. Looking at the bright and lively Li Yin, it was as if she could see her former self. However, she was much luckier than her former self. She had a family that loved each other, and she did not have to struggle for a living. She could laugh and be happy as she pleased. When they arrived at the production team, they greeted them and entered the dressing room. In the dressing room, Xiao Tsong was touching up his makeup. When he saw Shiwan's arrival, he greeted her first. Hello. Hello. Yeah, there's a beauty following behind you today. Xiao Tsong naturally saw Li Yin, who was beside Shiwan. Li Yin raised her chin. You're the male lead of this production team? Yes. She looks quite decent. Xiao Tsong, a newcomer? Yes. Then can you keep up with Jiang Shiwan's acting? Barely, Xiao Tsong answered truthfully. Hence, Li Yin looked at Jiang Shiwan with disdain. Looks like your acting skills have deteriorated. Even newbies can barely keep up with your rhythm. In Chun Zai's movie, there was a second female lead who was also a newbie. According to the seniors, she could be considered a good talent for acting, but when she acted with her, she was left with nothing. Shiwan, Xiao Tsong, F***CK, this beauty, what a vicious mouth. Zheng Nuo said, what nonsense are you spouting? This Xiao Tsong's acting skills are better than yours. Li Yin glared at Zheng Nuo. Don't keep thinking that my standards are stuck in school, okay? Zheng Nuo pursed his lips. You haven't graduated yet. Li Yin, F***CK. I want to tell my brother to fire him. Xiao Tsong was still very gentlemanly. Yes, because Shiwan lowered her aura. This was also the truth. He could feel that this female lead, who was the same age as her, was definitely more powerful than that. Aura was a mysterious saying. The mentor had said that every outstanding actor would have their own aura when they acted. They would act together with an actor who was more outstanding than them. You would easily step into the aura that he created, and the entire performance will be under his control. If you were better than him, then you could easily bring him into the aura that you created. The entire rhythm of the performance would be under your control. If the person with the stronger aura could not stand the person with the weaker aura, then the person with the weaker aura would be suppressed. This was where the word suppress came from. Turn around and take a look at the camera. A few machines were shooting the same scene. The person with the weaker aura could not even make a silhouette. Even if he did, his performance was not satisfactory. In the end, he was cut by the editor with a gotcha. He had worked hard to shoot that scene. It was all used to accentuate the one with the stronger aura. Shiwan heard Xiao Song's explanation and could not help but look sideways. At this age, he already had such an understanding and acting ability. No wonder he was called a genius actor. Presumably, his future would not be inferior to Zheng Mingri. When Li Yin heard Xiao Song's explanation, she snorted twice. Xiao Song said to Li Yin, "So you are also an actor?" "I am Li Yin." The little person in her heart was already howling wildly. "Li Yin, haven't you heard of her?" Xiao Song looked at Shiwan, then at Zheng Nuo, and he meant Xiao Song's assistant had no choice but to lower his head and say, "She's the same as Jiang Shiwan. Both of them are new artistes that Tianying signed this year. However, I heard that this person has a very big background. She's a standard fair, rich, and beautiful woman." Hearing his assistant's reminder, Xiao Tsong naturally remembered who Li Yin was. He patted his forehead and said, "H. Li Yin, I know. She's the very beautiful campus belle of the performing department of University A. I've heard of her great fame when I was in B film." His words were really half true, but that Sundara lady felt comfortable listening to him. "You have good taste." Xiao Tsong held back his laughter. "Yes, I've always had a good eye for beauties. I heard that you're acting in director Chun Zai's new movie, and you're also the female lead, right?" "Yes. Are you going on stage with senior Zheng Mingri?" Zheng Mingri was another idol that Xiao Tsong liked. When it came to idols, little transparent's eyes always sparkled. Li Yin smiled. "Yes. Senior Mingri is much more handsome in real life than on TV, and his attitude is super good. His acting skills are off the charts." Yes. Do you like him too?" "Of course, he's my idol." The two of them began to chat, one after the other, and they became high on the topic. They even became friends and left their contact details. Zheng Nuo, wasn't he glaring at this kid just now in the blink of an eye? They're holding hands and becoming best friends? The world changes too quickly. I was caught off guard. At this moment, Shiwan was already sitting in her seat. Zhou Dong was putting on her makeup. He also saw the interaction between Li Yin and Xiao Kong. Young people nowadays. Youth is good. "Teacher Zhou, you're not that old either." "I'm old. My son is already 3 years old." Hemin opened her mouth. "Didn't they say that all female makeup artists were gay?" Zhou Dong said, "Aya, why did I reveal my age?" "Haha." The atmosphere was relaxed and happy. Of course, it would be even better if Xiao Qin didn't rush them. Today's scene was the reunion of the male and female lead after a long separation. There was also a kissing scene. It was probably because the overall harmony of the online novel market was becoming more and more serious. Nowadays, not to mention the sex scene, even the kissing scene was not allowed to be written in too much detail. They were afraid that they would be invited into a small dark room to drink tea and talk about their life ideals. The original author of Records of the Geisha of the Tang Dynasty simply did not write about such things. After all, a little in-depth tongue kiss was taken back and edited by the administrator of the manual review. Not only was it time-consuming, but it also took a lot of brain work. And in the depths of love, the kiss that one could not help but write about was downplayed. Therefore, after more than a month of filming and the script was almost halfway through, the long-awaited kissing scene came. The kissing scene was written lightly in the original, but the movie wasn't. After all, the standards of the movie were much more relaxed than the online novel. Shiwan was an actress, so she had the professionalism to shoot kissing scenes, so she took out some gum and chewed it before the shooting started. Xiao Tsong, on the other hand, was shy. As he ate the gum, he stared at Shi Wan's red lips from time to time. He felt that he was very perverted. Zheng Nuo stood at the side, his whole body emitting a strong sense of jealousy. He muttered, "Next scene, definitely not kissing scenes, definitely not taking them." Li Yin and He Min, crazy. Zheng Nuo frowned. "Don't tell me you've already filmed a kissing scene with someone." Zheng Nuo's voice suddenly rose. Although he and Li Yin did not like each other, but to outsiders, she was his sister, she was actually taken lightly by someone just like that. "I've filmed it." Li Yin said it, as if it was a matter of course. Thinking about it now, she was still a little excited. "You've really filmed it." Zheng Nuo's voice suddenly rose. "Which kid? Come out. I promise I won't chop you to death." Zheng Nuo, whose brain was full of brain matter, completely forgot that the person who filmed the kissing scene with his sister was Zheng Mingri, who had been talking so loudly just now. How could it be fake? Actually, when sister had asked to perform in the other person's position, director Chen knew her family background and almost agreed. She was the one who had asked to film it. What a joke. She was a professional actress and was dedicated to her work. Besides, she had been dreaming about this kiss scene for a long time. How could she allow him to act in the other person's position? Zheng Nuo felt a wave of frustration. This sister of his was hopeless, but he could still save his goddess no matter what. He was still her manager. Thus, Zheng Nuo walked towards the serious-looking Gu Yi with an imposing manner. "Brother Gu, this is Shi Wan's first kiss. Do you think we can film it?" He started to ask around. Shi Wan had never had a puppy love since she was young. Her first kiss was still there. If his cousin, Li Zhan, knew about it, he would probably laugh in disdain. What kind of first kiss could a wild girl like her have? Gu Yi frowned. "I pay attention to the truth when I film. The scene where you galloped on a horse last night was not that fake." Zheng Nuo exposed it bluntly. "Gu Yi, F***CK, Xiao Qin, quickly dragged this guy down." Just as Zheng Nuo was about to say something, the studio staff ran over and said to Gu Yi, "Director, it's okay." Gu Yi nodded and picked up the small loudspeaker on the side. "Okay, everyone, take your positions. F***CK, move over, move over." Gu Yi didn't even roll his eyes, while Xiao Qin, who was at the side, tactfully dragged Zheng Nuo down. Zheng Nuo was about to explode, but he saw Shi Wan and Xiao Tsong already standing in front of the machine. Zheng Nuo wanted to pull his own artiste back in the thousands, but he was dragged away by his cousin. "What are you adding to the mess?" Lian always looked down on Zheng Nuo, whose manager works like that. Sigh. Although the manager who plotted against Jiang Xuan was Brother Hai, and he was sister, Brother Hai and sister were both Sky Shadow's ace managers. But now Jiang Xuan's manager was his cousin. If he was really more popular than Jiang Xuan in the future, it would be a little unfair for him to win. What about a manager? A manager should help an artiste take on a movie, take on a big brand advertisement, appear on all the major programs, and hype up the news to increase their exposure. Not someone like you, who either watches an artiste act or fights for the job of an assistant. And now you come out to hinder the development of your artiste's acting skills. Li Yin curled her lips in disdain. Zheng Nuo, what the hell? Li Yin, you won't ask Sister A and Brother Hai. I can't be bothered with you. On your mark, 3, 2, 1, action. Shuang Shuang. Looking at Bai Shuang, who had suddenly returned, Li Ye's face was filled with shock. Was this true? Was the person in front of him really Shuang Shuang? He had thought that he would never see this intelligent young lady again in this lifetime. Your Highness. Bai Shuang's voice was slightly hoarse. She had been galloping on her horse for the past few days, and she was already exhausted. If it wasn't for the conviction in her heart to see him quickly supporting her, she probably wouldn't have been able to make it. Shuang Shuang. Li Ye's pitch-black eyes stared unblinkingly at the young lady in front of him, afraid that in the blink of an eye, the young lady in front of him would once again disappear from his eyes. Hearing Li call her name once again, his nostrils turned sour and his eyes welled up. Tears welled up in his eyes. Your Highness, Shuang Shuang misses you. Very much. Before he saw her, he was thinking about what he would say after he saw her. After he saw her, he realized that thousands of words were stuck in his throat. In the end, he could only stupidly tell him, I miss him. His soft voice caused Li Yi to be unable to suppress the surging emotions in his heart. He pulled her over and hugged her tightly, as if he wanted to embed her into his body. His chin pressed against her head. After a long time, he said with conviction, I wanted to. It was said that a day apart was like 3 years. He and her had not seen each other for many years. No wonder lovesickness became a disaster. Only when they hugged each other and felt her warm body in his embrace did his heart become clear. His Bai Shuang had returned. She had really returned. She was still immersed in her warm and soft jade, but the delicate body in his embrace suddenly softened. Li Yi immediately hugged Bai Shuang. He looked down and saw that Bai Shuang had already closed her eyes and was unconscious in his embrace. There were still clear tears at the corners of his eyes, causing his heart to throb with pain. Shuang, 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 what's wrong with you? Li Yi carried Bai Shuang and ran towards the inner residence while ordering the courtiers not far away. Quick, Imperial Physician Xian. The wind blew past his ears, and he could only mumble, Bai Shuang, Bai Shuang. Cut, okay. Gui was very satisfied with Shi Wan and Xiao Tsung's smooth acting, and he smiled like a flower. Zheng Nuo, who was watching anxiously, said, Didn't you say you were going to shoot a kissing scene? He was ready to be heartbroken, but he suddenly realized that it was not necessary. How strange. Hemin rolled her eyes at him. The next scene will be one. Zheng Nuo felt as if someone had stabbed his little heart again. Then why did Shi Wan and Xiao Tsung chew gum just now? Did they need to prepare so much in advance? Fall. I'm happy to do it. Li Yin crossed her arms. Hemin explained, These two scenes are close to each other. We can start shooting if we change the scene. The interior set master has already prepared it. We just need to move the camera to the next scene. Zheng Nuo looked at the crew. Sure enough, a large group of people were working hard to carry the camera to the next scene. They were very efficient. Shi Wan and Xiao Tsung did not return to the rest area. Instead, they walked directly to the next location. Zheng Nuo had always liked Shi Wan. Plus, he had watched the kiss scene just now and was full of jealousy. Therefore, without thinking, he lowered his head and kissed Shi Wan. Shi Wan had some kung fu skills, but when she saw Zheng Nuo's face suddenly enlarged, she subconsciously stepped back. Unexpectedly, he had already wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed her. In a split second, Shi Wan pushed him away. A pair of black phoenix eyes looked at him calmly. He was imposing without being angry. Zheng Nuo finally kissed his goddess, but when he came back to his senses, he saw his goddess looking at him without any emotions. She did not say anything. He was hot-blooded, as if he was suddenly in a world of ice and snow. At this moment, he was exceptionally cold. Shi Wan, I. Zheng Nuo opened his mouth, but he could not say anything. I don't know how to apologize. Oh, can you move aside? Okay. Zheng Nuo turned his body and instantly felt that he was in a very sorry state. Shi Wan pushed Zheng Nuo away and walked towards the rest area. Her pace was neither fast nor slow. Gui stood behind Zheng Nuo. He saw everything that had just happened clearly. He only sneered. Young Master Zheng, she is not one of those young models that you had before. Zheng Nuo glared at Gui and followed Shi Wan. Li Yin saw Zheng Nuo's head drooping. Oh, it's just a kissing scene. Why are you so uptight? The scene of Zheng Nuo forcefully kissing Shi Wan was done in a split second. Other than Gui, no one else saw it. Hence, when Li Yin saw Zheng Nuo's unhappy expression, she thought that Zheng Nuo was still fussing over Shi Wan's kissing scene. Zheng Nuo did not speak. Li Yin clicked her tongue and looked at Jiang Shi Wan. These two scenes are pretty good. Shi Wan smiled. It's quite easy to admit that I'm good. Li Yin pulled Jiang Shi Wan aside. I realize that your interaction with my brother on Weibo is 0. Where's the courtship agreement? Your brother doesn't often go on Weibo. Shi Wan was actually a little guilty when she said this, but she acted very calm. This excuse again. Don't think that I don't know that your assistant is managing your Weibo now. Shi Wan, Ovo, she's become smarter. How do you know? Your alt account. Your alt account has never been used before, so it was exposed here. Shi Wan nodded. I know. All right, today seems to be Friday. I'll go back and interact with your brother tonight. Indeed, Li Zhan's V account was used once or twice a week, Monday and Friday. Li Yin nodded, expressing her satisfaction. You know how often my brother goes on Weibo. It seems that you haven't forgotten our agreement. Shiwan, if you think so, that's fine too. After the third scene, everyone finished filming and went back. Shiwan, Li Yin, and Hemin walked in front, while Zheng Nuo followed behind. Hemin found it strange that Zheng Nuo, who was usually a talkative person, did not say a word. She was curious, but she did not dare to ask if a cold wind blew, mixed with a hint of cold rain. Hemin could only say, "It's so cold." In silence, they arrived at the hotel. Lian's assistant was already waiting at the entrance of the hotel. Then I'll be leaving first. Don't forget what you promised me. Shiwan nodded. Zheng Nuo then muttered, "What secret?" However, when he received Jiang Shiwan's casual glance, Zheng Nuo lowered his head again. If his friends knew that the arrogant kid who was once fearless was now so frightened by a woman's glance that he didn't dare to speak, his eyeballs would probably fall to the ground. Hemin was amazed by Zheng Nuo's behavior. She felt that something unspeakable had happened between the two of them. But thinking about it carefully, there was nothing. The two of them had been in her line of sight the whole day. After returning to her room, Shiwan took a hot shower and lay on her bed. She took her phone, opened Weibo, and logged into her alternate account. The sun is not late. I was bitten by something strange today. I'm so happy. Shiwan's alternate account did not have many fans. Only Li Yin and Li Zhan, and a few fans who had followed her because she was flipped by Zhang Mingri. Madame Jiang, who wanted to be a screenwriter, immediately replied, "Ha, isn't it just a kiss scene with someone?" Xiao Tsong is also handsome and talented. Most importantly, this is his first kiss in his life. After interacting with Xiao Tsong on the set for half a day, Li Yin realized that the two of them had the same outlook, and the movie stars they liked were all the same. In addition, Xiao Tsong was a gay, and now he had become Li Yan's new best friend. The Weibo user, Ming Ri's little son, refreshed her homepage and suddenly saw that Sunset had updated a Weibo post. She was wondering who this was and when she had followed it, so she opened it and saw a comment. When she looked again, there was a lot of information, so she asked doubtfully, "Kissing scene? Are you two actors?" F***CK. She was so excited. These two might be the old accounts of celebrities in the entertainment industry. Madame Jiang, who wanted to be a screenwriter, replied to that person, "Aya, she's just a side character. She acted as a little prostitute and was kissed by the emperor's son." She did not lie. Shiwan acted as a geisha, and Xiao Tsong acted as a prince. It was just that the little prostitute was kissed by the prince. Oh, that person understood. There are many such side characters, so he was used to it. Come on, when you become a big star, you might be able to act with Ming Ri. Shiwan replied, "Okay." Little did she know that these two were female leads who had partnered with Zhang Mingri. Shiwan refreshed her homepage again and saw that Li Zhan had forwarded a Weibo post with her comments on it. There were still a few comments, and most of them were expressing their love, such as CEO Li asking for a mistress. CEO Li asked for a photo. Shiwan thought about it and forwarded it. "So you can become a boss just by understanding this?" Shiwan's retweet made Li Yin, who was standing guard, very happy. She immediately forwarded it herself. "Ha! Why do you have to be the boss yourself? It's better to be the lady boss. There's a saying, men conquer the world, women conquer men. Duong, I'm a master of the world." Shiwan. Ding dong. Careful of the notification sound, Shiwan thought that Li Yin had sent another message. After checking, she realized that it was from the boss. No. What a serious word. Shiwan could feel the calm and handsome face of the boss on the other side of the screen. On the way, Xiao Tsong looked at Shiwan and said, "I'm so nervous." Shiwan. "It's just a kiss scene later." Xiao Tsong's face was slightly red. Shiwan. "Oh, it's like eating and drinking water. It'll be done in a moment. Just shoot as usual." Xiao Tsong listened to this strange metaphor for a long time and could not help but ask, "You're not nervous? Why are you nervous?" She was really broad-minded. She was born to do this. In the next scene, The director let everyone rest for another 5 minutes before they started shooting again. The imperial physician came over with a medicine box and looked at the anxious Li Yi. This girl just hasn't slept well for a long time. Her mind is haggard and she is fine. She will get better after resting for a few days. Leah's worried heart was finally relieved. A false alarm was indeed a beautiful word. The imperial physician gave the order and gave a few more instructions before he bowed and left. Li saw Bai Shuang lying unconscious on the bed and touched her thin face. Shuang Shuang, you're so cruel. You gave me such a big shock the moment you came back. But Shuang Shuang, I'd rather you give me a shock than not see your happy face for the rest of my life. Shuang Shuang, this time, I won't let you go again. Li spoke one sentence after another and continued to express his feelings until Bai Shuang slowly woke up. Your Highness! Shuang Shuang. Bai Shuang stood up and looked at the much skinnier Li Yi. She could not help but caress his face. Your Highness has lost weight. They looked at each other, and Li Yi slowly bent down. Gui stopped him. Shout Song, why are you so sad? This is to make you kiss a beauty, not to send you to your death. F***CK. He actually gave him a sad and decisive expression. What the F***CK? Zheng Nuo. F***CK. This be **starred, taking advantage of his goddess. And he even dared to show an expression that he was at a disadvantage. I really want to cut him off, and let me do it. Xiao Tsong was so embarrassed, and he looked even more embarrassed at Shiwan. Shiwan smiled. Don't feel pressured. It's your first time, so you're always nervous. Xiao Tsong thought to himself, you're saying it like it's not your first time, but you're still nervous. How do I break it? Thus, the next few times, he also got an NG. It was not because Xiao Tsong's face was too red, it was because his body was trembling too much, or it was because Xiao Tsong was laughing. This kind of consecutive ing was very unusual in their scenes. After all, before this, most of their scenes were one-shot, or at least three-shot. Gui also had a headache. This genius junior brother of his was simply too much. Zheng Nuo was very anxious. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Why don't we replace the body double? Gui rolled his eyes at Zheng Nuo. What kind of stupid suggestion was this? Kissing scenes could even be done as a body double. Zheng Nuo did not care whether logic worked or not. He only cared about recommending himself. I'm about the same size as that kid. I'll do it. I guarantee that I'll be so beautiful that I can kiss him. Your faces are different. Gui felt that this Zheng Nuo was invincible. It's okay. You can pat my back. Gui, he really wanted to curse? Then he said to Xiao Tsong, I'll give you 10 minutes to rest and calm down. Xiao Tsong nodded. Okay. Then he said to the other staff members, I'm sorry to trouble everyone. Everyone shook their heads. It's okay. It was just a one-time delay. It was no big deal. Li Yin went up and patted Xiao Tsong's shoulder. You don't even dare to kiss such a beautiful woman. You're good. Suddenly, Li Yin, who had been opened by Miracle World, changed her expression. She went up and whispered, You won't. Xiao Tsong blinked his eyes. I won't what? Have you ever been in a relationship? He then denied it. Look at your first brother. I reckon that your first love is still there. Don't think that this is your first kiss. Xiao Tsong nodded his head in embarrassment. Li Yin was cursing in her heart. He was indeed a gay. In this day and age, all the good-looking, clean-minded men had fallen in love with men suddenly. She felt fortunate that the Jiang she had taken a fancy to had fallen in love with a woman. Even though that woman wasn't her, this was the only way that she could win over the man. Otherwise, for a man who liked men, his gender alone wasn't right. How could she continue? Li Yin could only say, just think of her as the man you like. Okay. Although Xiao Tsong felt that something was strange, his brain was still a little muddled. He only thought that Li Yin had taught him a method, so he subconsciously agreed. Li Yin, as expected, he admitted it. Wait a minute. What did he mean by the man he liked? Xiao Tsong finally realized what was wrong when he came back to his senses. He was about to explain when he heard the director shouting, Action! Action! Thus, a beautiful misunderstanding was born. When the shooting started again, Xiao Tsong was fully prepared. He put Jiang Shuan's face into Jiang Shuan's, who he had been thinking about for many years, and then slowly kissed her, tossing and turning, gentle and affectionate. Such a delicate feeling, like flowing water, slowly flowed into everyone's hearts. Zheng Nuo, who was watching from the side, felt his heart break. The goddess was kissing another man in front of me. It was so uncomfortable that I couldn't breathe. Don't stop me. I want T.O. be an actress too. Cut. Okay. Xiao Tsung's original face, which was full of heartache and pity, instantly turned red. When he looked at Shi Wan's gentle little face, his mind was filled with the soft touch just now. It was like electricity coursing through his body, and he felt numb. Now that he thought about it, he was extremely embarrassed. Shi Wan smiled and patted his shoulder. This is just work. Clap, clap, clap. The surrounding crew members applauded. You acted very well. Guyi gave a thumbs up. Indeed, his genius junior brother had to put some pressure on him in order to perform well. Then, Guyi shifted his gaze to the female lead. Her face was still as calm as ever, and she smiled lightly at everyone. However, her eyes were calm, and there was a faint sense of alienation and wariness in them. It was as if she had separated herself from the world, and everyone looked like they were watching a show he could not help but want to see if Jiang Shuan, who was not in the movie, could have the same variety of expressions as she did in the movie. Perhaps it was because Gu Ye's gaze was too strange. Shiwan could not help but look sideways. She was stunned for a moment before smiling again. Director, is there anything wrong with me? Gu Yi shook his head. You're very good. In time, she would definitely become a first-rate superstar in the entertainment industry. Zheng Nuo separated her and Gu Ye's gaze and put on the down jacket in his hand. You're so focused on talking, and you don't know how to keep it warm. What if you catch a cold? Didn't you come here very soon? Zheng Nuo's little heart was shot again. He had been too busy drinking vinegar just now. All he wanted to do was to peel off Shao Kong. He had forgotten to put the down jacket on Shiwan. Maybe because of the kiss just now, Shiwan's lips looked very beautiful. Plus, her skin was already white. The redness in her mouth made people want to take a bite.